One, two. Good afternoon, it's me, I'm Dr. X, I'm in the building. Big up to Mikey Dunn for the last 2 hours, yes? Respect, bruv. I didn't catch most of it, but you know what I'm saying? You know he's always on point, bruv. So you don't know, you know what I'm saying? He didn't know it was me coming in, so he didn't give me a boost. He should have given me a boost still, but no, I forgive him still. But it's all good. It's all good. Respect, Mikes. Yeah, nice one. Yeah, catch up, right? Yeah, all good. Right, so here we go. We're back in. You know what I'm saying? We're tonight's show. Today's all about the Caucasian blacks. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about, are you a Caucasian? Right. I mean, my friend said to me that it's oxymoronic what I just said. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, how can you be Caucasian and be black? That's like being in, out, or whatever. But I'm saying to him, it's, you know, it's the coconut days are over and the bounty days are over, and you know the Oreo days are done. You know, we're in a serious meltdown in terms of what we're doing to ourselves as a, you know, as a group. You know what I'm saying? As a race, even. I don't know what to call it still. So, we're in shit motherfucking street, nigga. But yeah. Yeah, I'm cold. Remember I told you, I'm cold. 07931276232. That's 07931276232. I'm Dr. X. This is the People's Talk Show. You don't know how it go. You know how we run. You know what I'm saying? Like, and let's get this one thing straight as well. Like, you know, even though it says it's the People's Talk Show, let's understand it's not the people that are talking. It's me. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking. So I'm saying, but what happens is that the people can engage based upon the subject matter. So still, again, for you indisciplined ones, you know what I'm saying, and unruly ones, like, it's not about that. Can't hijack it. You know what I'm saying? Take your time. You know what I'm saying? Follow the rules. You know what I'm saying? It'll be all jiggy, wouldn't it? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's how we do over here. You know what I'm saying? Today, it's a bit of this and a bit of that I'm gonna do today, so bear with me. Because I've got some stuff to say, as usual.
You've always been outspoken about social issues, and it seems that you're kind of in the middle of one. The incident at your home in Los Angeles, do you have any comment on that?
I mean, as I sit here on the eve of, on the eve of one of the greatest sporting events that we have in sports, you know, race and what's going on comes again, and on my behalf and my family's behalf. But I mean, I look at it as this. I mean, if this is to shed a light and continue to keep the conversation going on my behalf, then I'm okay with it. You know, my family is safe. At the end of the day, they're safe, and that's the most important. But it just goes to show that that racism will always be a part of the world, a part of America, and you know, hate. You know, in America, especially for African American, is living every day. And even though that, you know, that it's concealed most of the time, even though people hide their faces and will say things about you, and when they see you, they smile in your face. It's alive every single day. And I think back to Emmett Till's mom. Actually, it's kind of one of the first things I thought of, and And the reason that she had a open casket is because she wanted to show the world what her son went through as far as a hate crime and, being black in America. So it's like it doesn't, no matter how much money you have, no matter how famous you are, no matter how many people admire you, being black in America is tough, and we got a long way to go. For us as a society and for us as African Americans until we feel equal in America, and but my family is safe, and that's what's important.
Yeah, that was LeBron. They'd spray painted his house with some nigger shit. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, these are like super double, triple rich guys in the sporting area. He's like a Jordan. LeBron, for those of you who don't know, is like a Michael Jordan of this time. But yet they spray painted his house. You know what I'm saying? And again, their response is weak. They're always trying to protect that money. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just goes to show they still all, racism is always going to be, like it's very poor in comparison to what's happening to black people in America. You know what I'm saying? And the types of things that have been done to black people in America. I still think myself personally that his response is poor. You know what I mean? It's not representative of what I really go on. Now, a lot of black people might think, X, they always think that X is chatting shit. But there's nothing I can do to save those people and get them to understand, you know what I mean, where we're there and where I go on. I mean, they're not, I don't know what the word is, they're not ready for this. You know what I'm saying? They're not ready to indulge in a greater conversation because they're scared niggas. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're Caucasian blacks. You know what I'm saying? These are blacks that not gonna do anything ever. They're just gonna make their money and do what they need to do in order to survive. You know what I mean? But meanwhile, black people are going to still be robbed across the world, across the planet. They're still going to be enslaved. They're still going to be brutalized. They're still going to be murdered, you know what I'm saying, excessively. They're still going to be jailed excessively. So really, you're living out, it's like you're in jail and living out your time. You're living out your time as a privileged prisoner. You said, boy, let me live out my days as a privileged prisoner, because I can tell you one thing. You're not going to have a privilege. Well, your children are not going to have the same privilege. Yeah? Remember I told you that. Your children are not going to have the same privilege, because each time that you give up the right to fight, and each time you allow them, each generation, you allow them to look at you, worship you, and then steal your ideas and steal your culture, and they call it, and just give it names and just let them keep doing it, you're going to have nothing left soon. They're going to be a perfect replica of you and ain't going to need you, and then they're going to claim that you lot are savages, and as they've always done. And we know that the Caucasians are the most savage race of people that this planet has ever spat out, if they came from this planet. So, you know what I'm saying? We're not heading down a road of redemption, liberation, or none of that. You know what I'm saying? We're heading down the road of getting fucked. You know what I'm saying? Serious thing. You know what I mean? I can't tell you anything else, bro. You know what I'm saying? We're heading strictly down the road of getting effed. With no Vaseline. You know what I mean? So if you keep on thinking somehow, you're going to make more money. Yeah, you're going to get out of the ghetto and, you're going to, yeah, my mum's got a house or, whatever. And, oh, God. Allow me, man. It's just a load of noise. You know what I mean? You're not making too much noise, man. And not doing nothing. Yeah. I'm going to be an entrepreneur, I'm gonna make movies. What movies gonna make? Yeah, about the streets. Yeah, I'm gonna make a movie about the streets. I'm saying, I said this year. Well, how long did I say this to you? This is some show ages back. This fuck y'all gonna make some movie about the streets. You know what I'm saying? You've gone to fucking art school or camera school or whatever, and you're gonna make movies about the streets? Is that your lot? Is that your? I'm telling you, dumb motherfuckers. We're getting dumber and dumber. You know what I'm saying? And I did all these shows. I don't know what's left. Like people are calling me Dr. X, Dr. Doom, Dr. The Vex is gone and now it's the Doom. Like, well, you never say anything positive. You see what I mean? You're not saying a lot of positive things. You know what I'm saying? And I keep saying to you, yeah, tell your mama and tell your friend them, yeah, when you describe a situation, yeah, that is there, it's what is there. If you see a man with his hand chopped off, his hand is chopped off. You can't do nothing about that. There's nothing you can do about that. But if when you want to go and see a horror film, you go and see a horror film. You're not expected to see a comedy. You're not expected to see romance. You're not expecting to see... When you listen to me, I'm Dr. X. You're going to hear some... They think I'm being controversial for controversial sake. How can you be controversial for controversial? You have to have something to talk about. People just switch you off. The reason why people still switch on and people still want to hear me is because I'm not controversial for controversial sake. I'm controversial because when I'm done, you got a topic to talk about. You got some stuff that you haven't looked into. You got some stuff to regurgitate. You know what I'm saying? Not just say it. Guess what? We should all walk with our willies out, or you know what I mean? Some stupidness that has no meaning whatsoever. It's just something to say. What? Yeah, well, if girls can have their tits out, we can have our willies out. Like stupidness. So don't get it twisted. I don't say what I'm saying is because what I'm saying I can argue anywhere. A drop of a hat. You know what I mean? A drop of a pin, a drop of a hat, a spin of a coin. You name it. You call me like 1 minute and say, well, do you want to talk about this? And 2 minutes later, I can talk about it. I don't need no notes. I don't need no letter. I don't need nothing. Vocals, yeah, just like it because it's in me. You know what I'm saying? This is not a feature for a show. I'm not a feature for a show. Anybody that knows me knows this is the feature. I am it. Everywhere I go, I bring it with me. Apart from when I switch it off. You know what I'm saying? But if I have to switch it on, it's with me, innit? So I'll just switch it off to conserve energy. And then if I need to switch it on, it's right with me. I don't need nothing. So don't get it twisted. We are a conquered race, yeah? The black race, the human beings. You know what? Let me get something clear, because I know some of you don't get this. We are the original black human beings. Forget about Africans, you know what I'm saying? Like, because you know me, I've had those arguments. I've even gone live. We've even talked live on it. I am not an African. So what happens now is all the dunce Africans and all the African Caribbean wannabes, you know what I'm saying, don't listen to him, he says he's not an African. Because they're all on I don't support Arsenal, they're on a team thing. They're not on a truth thing. They're not on I get what he means, but I'm not of what he means. So like if I say I'm not African, say, yeah, I understand where he's coming from, but I'm not of that. I prefer to, it's not that, it's like, he's not African, so I'm not listening to him. You know what I'm saying? Like some babies. And that's fine. But you can understand why their conversation is so limited and why it's so insular. You know what I mean? They have to stay amongst themselves because they all have to bounce off each other. They can't really go out into the outside world to really, to traverse what's really out there. So they stay insular and stay amongst themselves because it's easier then and it's safer. There's only a few people there to have me, and I'm not the most disciplined of people. I'm not in terms of my timekeeping and all that. I might be the most whatever, but I'm the person that when I talk, you get what I'm saying, it comes out. And this is for I won't even go into reasons for all of this. You know what I'm saying? I'm here and I have been here all the time from 2. So from you tuning at 2, as soon as the advert's done, you hear me, and that's what you've been hearing. Because one has to work at these things. You know what I'm saying? Over the years. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have it always right because life is not always that perfect. But you know what I'm saying? One has to but try. So I'm not claiming I'm anything. But what I am claiming is that when I speak about something, it's because there's a depth and I've looked into it from a deeper point. I argue with myself. You know what I'm saying? Until I come out. I don't want to win. I don't want to lose. I just want to see what comes out of it. Most of these people, they're on a winning thing. They don't really want the truth. They want to find a way to sustain their belief that they're African, if they're Caribbean, mixed with Indian, mixed with Irish. You know, some people, they say their name is so the same as Leroy MacDonald. You know what I'm saying? Which means that your original slave raster was probably Scottish of some kind. But then they go and say that they're African. I said, but how can you? You know what I'm saying? It's like a la la land. You understand what I'm saying? It's like they want to live. That's what I should have called it. La la land. You get me? Like, we're not there. We're not living up. La la land. You know what I mean? Like, what are you on about? You know what I'm saying? This is reality, bruv. You know what I mean? La la land ain't helping you right now. You know what I'm saying? If your mum was Scottish, you know, your grandmother or your great grandmother was Scottish, yeah, and your dad was sort of half Negro, you know what I'm saying, or mixed race or whatever, you're more white than you are black. Who the fuck you think this is? You know what I'm saying? I'm the only one. Okay, I'm one of the people, I guess. I wouldn't say the only one. I'm one of the people, them, like, London-based anyway. Like, that's just not afraid to say about all these things. If you wake up in the morning and go, hello, white mother, you're not a black person. You're a mixed race person. It's not deep. And if you're, well, oh, you can't tell me that I'm not mixed. You can't tell me that I'm not black. I don't care what nobody can tell you, bruv. If your mum's white, then you're half white. If your dad's white, then you're half white. You know, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? It's not a case of sides. It's not a football team. You know what I'm saying? You can't, you know what I mean? If you support, you can't switch. You know what I mean? If you support Arsenal, yeah, you can switch and support Tottenham if you want. You can switch and talk Liverpool or Man U or, you know, Everton if you want. You can support fucking, you know what I mean, Celtic if you want. That's your business. Yeah, you can do what the hell you want, but you can't switch your race, mate. You know what I'm saying? The fact that people, you know, mixed race people, like, you know, they're wondering why I'm saying this. Remember, the show's called Caucasian. It's about the Caucasian blacks and the black whites, yeah? Oh, if you're saying that... Sorry, 1 second. If you're saying that you're black, but your mum's white, then you're silly. Isn't it? Really? Come on. If you're saying that you're dog, but your mum's a cat, it's like, what? You can't, there's no way out, bro. Yeah? Let me give you a few instances of how you've got to change your mindset to move yourself forward. And remember, I'm the ghettoologist, so I talk about everything from forward movements to emotional movements to whatever, right? So it's all going to be in broad somewhere in what I'm going to say. It's not all about race. It's just what I have to say, because we have to change what I believe. I have to put out there, not so much change, but put out there a conversation that makes people in the future, youngsters in the future, understand why they exist. Not believe in la, 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 la. You know what I'm saying? No. And not just believe. Have an understanding, a rationalization around why they believe this is this or why they know this is this. Have an understanding and a rationalization around that. You know what I'm saying? Don't go through life. I'm not saying don't. You do what the hell you want, but my advice is try not to go through life just guessing all the time and allowing people to further your guessing. You know what I'm saying? So I did a lecture in front of, like, I don't know how many people was there. There's over 300 people there. Yeah, me and Kwaku, a guy called Prophet Kwaku, is also a comedian and a historian. And we did this lecture where I said that I'm not an African, and at the end of the lecture, it's sort of like, it was a bit of a competition. It was done in a kind of kind of fun, jointed way in a sense, because obviously I'm not a youngster, but my way of thinking is kind of new to the black identity, so to think, and the black movement. So I'm saying that I've never, and I've always said this from, like, we're talking about 17 years on now. I've always said I'm not an African. You know what I'm saying? I never said that. I'm saying that my parents hail from Jamaica. I've got mixed blood in me from Jamaica. Jamaica's an island of mixed people anyway. They're saying that, the majority of people are African in there, but I don't see that, so I don't understand that. That's, because also, remember, you're still believing with the people who tell a lot of lies. Europeans and the conquerors, the conquering Europeans, yeah, they are liars. They tell a whole bunch of lies. That's the whole idea why they conquer. They say to you that in war, the first thing that goes is the truth. So you can't trust their information anyway. Just sometimes trust your eyes. Sometimes realize that your eyes are limited to a certain viewpoint. So if the viewpoint can be widened, then you know what I mean. So like for instance, you can see that there's a lot of mixed race people going on, a lot of mixture of races going on in London if you're from London. But if you go to say I don't know, Shropshire, you won't see a lot of mixed races because it's mostly white people there. So I'm saying, so you can't then envision the whole world as the whole world is mixing because you're in an environment where there's a lot of mixed racing. You know what I'm saying? Or there's a lot of miscegenation with different races. You know what I'm saying? So you can't then view the entire planet as that's what they're doing. Then when you go to Shropshire, there's only white people and there's no mixing. You know what I'm saying? Or when you go to Southall, there's mostly Indian people and there's hardly any mixing. You know what I'm saying? So, but what I'm trying to say is that still, for the vision that you have, trust what you see. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like what you visually see, not like a photograph. I'm talking about what you see. You can get an understanding of what that is. You know what I'm saying? You can say, okay, I see what's going on within my scope of vision. Like and I can tell you what's going on in my scope of vision as a human being, as Dr. X. A lot of mixing. You know what I'm saying? Better be on point as I'll shut you off. Hello, this is Dr. X. Who am I speaking to?
Shalom, brother. To the brother Ben Israel.
Ben Israel. I can't hear you, sir. Can you? Am I too low or you too low? Which one's too low?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello?
Low. Go on, I can hear you. But you sound quite low.
Yeah, just listening to the program still.
Yeah.
So,
I
want to ask my guy to put it out there first. You have to find out, who they are first.
Who is, sir? Who is first?
We're talking about mixed race and these things, yeah?
Yeah.
You see, these things are prophesied in the Bible.
Okay.
Yeah, for us Israelites, yeah? I can give him scripture to read where it's prophesied in the Bible. The Most High, they choose.
All right, so you need to turn down your radio. I can hear myself back. It's delayed.
Okay, sorry, yeah. Yeah, hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Hello? Can you hear me?
Shalom, brothers.
Hello?
Hello, shalom?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, just listen to your program where you're saying about the mixed race and stuff and those things.
Yeah. You said it's written in the Bible.
Yeah, these things are prophesied in the Bible where I choose the Israelites. But I don't know if you guys class yourself as an Israelite.
No, I don't.
I'm the 12th tribe.
No, I don't. I don't even know. I don't know what point in time. You know, there's been such a mix up and such a mixing of races that there's no way you can truthfully say you can adhere to it.
Listen, this is my brother. Sorry to
No, it's cool.
There's way in the Bible where if you go through the Bible, the Most High told us He gave on Jacob and Israel His laws and commandments.
Yeah.
For He had done so to no other nation. So He's saying to you, God, you're the Most High through Christ. You're the black Messiah. You're not the wooden stone where they're telling about these.
I know that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even because there's even prophecy, my brothers. Yeah, in the Bible where the Most High say, when He scattered us in the slave trade. Yeah, in Deuteronomy 28. He told us we was gonna serve other gods of wood and stone. The scripture for this to back it up. So therefore, the Bible, my brother, me like reading it over, but not with the white Christianity. The Bible is talking about us black race that go through the slave trade. So if you can, your presenter,
My name is me. It's Dr. X. That's me. It's me. I'm the presenter, Dr. X. Yeah.
Yeah. My brother Dennis sent me the thing, so I said, let me give you this. Yeah. So all praise to the Most High. Yes, I love what you're doing, man. And more time, just research, my brother. Yeah, there's scripture in the Bible. Yeah, the King James Bible. Yeah, don't say that white.
But you know, like as you said, it's King James as well. And I know there's a few people that turn to this Hebrew Israelite mindset, but that's not what we, there's such confusion about what's happened over the past 2,000 years. That for one to hold on, and I'm not saying respect to you holding on to a view in terms of that's what you want. But there's no way on the planet anyone can really, say that that's the truth. They can say that this is where I go on. You know what I'm saying? Or that's what they feel. Them can debate from that.
Yeah, but if I say to you, if you read Deuteronomy, chapter 28.
Yeah, but he wasn't. There is no date and time in that, sir. That could have happened in that time. It's not saying 2,000 years from now, this is what's going to happen to black people. It's not saying that. It's talking about what was going to happen. That means you're saying that if I say it's going to rain, obviously it's going to rain. But if I've got to know the difference between when it's going to rain either tomorrow or next week or the week after.
Say, my brother, yeah, I don't disagree with you, but yeah, that's why in Isaiah, he told you, read me precept upon precept.
I said, read me precept upon?
Yeah, precept upon precept. And line must be upon line. Here a little and there a little. Therefore, if you don't understand something in the Old Testament, it's written in the New Testament.
Yeah, but that doesn't count for the years I just mentioned. I said that there's nowhere to because so many things have repeated themselves over history. There's no way to say that this is the time he's talking about. This is 2,000 years late or more than that from when that was written. And it doesn't give any precise times, so that could have been talking about the time that people were going through at this, they went through the famine at that time, when they went through, the walk through the desert at that time. They must be they could have been talking about that time, because they haven't talked about now and airplanes, and they haven't talked about machine guns, and they don't know about now. You see what I'm saying? So if you make it into
it's in the Bible. Listen, all right.
What is in the Bible, sir? Machine guns.
No, I mean like
the internet. Is the internet in the Bible? Because that's what's happening now in this time.
UFO,
Sorry?
It's been chariots in the Bible, yeah? If you can get the Bible right now, I can show you anything you want to ask me about that thing.
I said there is no internet in the Bible. I don't need to get one to show you that. You just need to show me, innit?
Who was Moses talking to in the wilderness when time God gave him the commandment?
Who was he talking? You're the one that's telling me. I'm not gonna. You get what I'm saying? You're the one with the power, so you tell me.
The Israelite, my brother, the Israelite, when Moses was talking, to the Israelites from Egypt, but Egypt means bondage,
I can't hear you. You've just gone. You faded. Are you talking into the mic, into your phone, sir?
Yeah. Go on, yeah. I really appreciate what you're doing, sir, but more time you must have to try and find out where.
But bruv, you just skipped. I'm something on look, because you've just skipped again. I said there's no internet in the Bible. This is what's happening now. You know what I mean? Right now, men are marrying men, and men are having children by men, right? So I'm saying that back then. Hold on, let me just finish. I'm saying back then, men were marrying men anyway, way back then, and marrying children back then. So how do you know it wasn't talking about then? Because they're still doing it now. So I don't understand how you're going to, when there is no time date, you're going to fix a date on now after they might have gone through that era already, and you're still thinking, because lots of the eras and what's going on earth is repetitive, you think this is the same era and we're the same people.
You need to go through the curse though, my brother. The curse fit us, especially verse 68 that say that we shall come into Egypt again. Egypt is some they call it synonymous for bondage, the house of bondage.
Yeah, but we're nowhere near Egypt, so I don't know. I don't understand. The Nubians in Egypt has been displaced.
Listen. This is the modern day Egypt, my brother.
No, you see, that's what I'm saying. You're making it up. You're making up stuff to suit your narrative.
No,
there's no modern. They didn't say that Egypt was going to be moved to Britain.
My brother. Yeah, let me read you a chapter from Deuteronomy 28, verse 16, right? Yeah, and tell me if this curse don't fit us, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ship. How did it get to America, Jamaica, all over the place as black people? By what kind of thing?
But that has to do with that time. That we came by plane here. So what in the ship? There was ships then.
The book of Moses.
Sorry?
But this was prophesied.
Yeah, but I'm saying shit like that happened back then. That's what I'm saying to you. This is not what we're talking about now.
My brother, come on, please, Listen,
No, sir. Let's keep calm.
By the way, up there, I spoke up the means, so we ain't going to see Jerusalem no more. Yeah, our motherland. Yeah.
Bro, if we want to go and see Jerusalem, we've got enough money, we can go back and see that. You're talking about a group of people have been displaced, yeah? So what I'm saying is that might have been a group of people that displaced from back then, but you're calling us, me, and you Israelite now, and I'm saying there's no way you can properly assess that, and you're just guessing. You're just using it and say, right, I'm going to follow this.
No, I ain't guessing it, my brother. It's in the Bible,
it's
right?
not in the Bible. You just, all that stuff you just added to it. It doesn't say nothing about Jamaica. It doesn't say nothing about Australia. It doesn't say nothing about the Aborigines. It says nothing about the Arawak Indians. It says none of that stuff. You've just added that to the narrative in order to feed what you want it to feed.
Wrong.
Sorry?
Jamaica didn't have no Arawak Indian down there. Yeah, it's the slave master make that up.
No, I didn't say that. We're not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they're not even mentioned. That's what I'm saying to you. So it doesn't matter whether the slave masters are made that up. The Indians are not mentioned. The Apaches or whatever the names. You know, we can go on. The Aborigines of Australia are not mentioned. I'm saying that we are the people of the planet. So this idea that we're a specifically blessed people that's been unblessed is I think is erroneous, and it's the wrong way to go. But that's just my view.
I ain't doubting this, but you might need to do some more research, my brother.
But bruv, you know, but you're saying, bruv, I'm in this thing 17 years. So you're saying that I haven't done no? Are you saying I haven't done no research? Are you saying that I need to do more research? Or you need to? Are you saying I need to do a different type of research? Which one are you saying?
I would never say that to you.
No. What are you saying then? That's I'm trying to get. Are you saying do a different type of research?
So if you Google yoke of iron, who you see in yoke of iron? So you're gonna tell me, say, yeah, if you Google yoke of iron and say the thing, the person Deuteronomy 28 don't fit. Yeah,
bruv, but the yoke of iron, the yoke of iron goes back thousands of years. It's not now. This happened in the last 500. That the yoke of iron goes back to thousands of years. So, as I am saying, it's not talk. You don't know. I'm not saying it is nor isn't. I'm saying you don't know if it was talking about then or if it's talking about now. And I'm saying that the same people who were the Israelites, there's no way they can be the same people, because that's people have been mixed. They've been enslaved and mixed in. How can they be the same people?
Listen, yeah. When you get a chance, brother, read the curses in 28 from verse 15 to 68.
Sir,
many ways can be the. Listen, yeah. This one even that say to you, yeah. Therefore thou shalt serve thy enemy, in hunger, in thirst, and in nakedness. My brother, tell me seriously, if you want clothes, or who you pay the water rate to?
That's bruv, but that was happening then. I'm saying to you, like, you've brought it all the way. You've brought it thousands and thousands and thousands a year forward to be accurate. It was happening then. There was starvation then. There was famine then. You know what I'm saying? There was yoke of iron then. How is it still the same now?
Brother, I ask you, please, verse 14 say to you, therefore thou shalt serve thy enemy which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron on your neck until he have destroyed you. My brother, simple question, in hunger, who do you buy food from? Come on, black folks don't own nothing. The Arab.
Yeah, I understand, bruv, but what I'm saying bruv, what I'm saying though, you brought it all, bruv. Sorry?
They saying this ain't going on now, though. In nakedness, you want clothes, we don't own no clothes factory.
Right, I hear that, bruv. I hear that.
That's what I'm saying to you, my brother.
Yeah, I hear that. What I'm saying to you is that
iron means destroy when they change your identity.
Bruv, you know, when you have a conversation, sometimes you got to listen. You can't just. I know you want to put your point across.
Sorry, go on.
I know you want to put your point across, and I know you believe in your point, but you can't shut me down in order just to bully your point.
Come on, brother. Shalom, brother.
You know what I'm saying? Because this is what a lot of religious people do. They bully their point. They don't rationalize their point. What I'm saying to you is that I understand what you're saying. Yeah, you can put it in any time frame you want. What I am saying is that you're claiming.
Let's go with brother Carlos. Yeah.
Carlos, right?
Yeah. So Israelite, my brother. No sir. They were Israelites. No sir.
Yeah. So I mean, where's that? You throw me now with all that. Like, don't call me this and don't call me that. It's like this is the kind of thing that it's almost like I'm going backwards. I was doing this 15 years ago. The bottom line is, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. One has to come to terms with the reality of this existence, yeah? Now, if you've chosen that Hebrew Israelite is the way you're going to come to terms with that reality, I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I get you, but you won't get me. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't believe in none of that stuff. That stuff is old stuff as far as I'm concerned. I understand all this stuff is going to happen, and I don't believe that no God is a man. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe in the he part of a balanced situation where you've created, where, you know, you've been robbed of information, and the robbery is what you're following. You know what I'm saying? The misinformation in the Bible and the reassessment of the Bible is what you're following, which in itself is erroneous. Because if there was a creation of people and there's man and woman, the creator wouldn't be a man. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't come, in my rationalization, different to your rationalization, I can't keep calling him he. I would have to have another term other than calling a man who made man and woman. That means that man would always be dominant, and no one knows, because in the human history, I'm not talking white history, because I necessarily don't believe that white Caucasians started on this planet, but that's another story.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure
But I'm just saying that, I don't want to go into that now, but I'm just saying that's what I'm saying. So the original human being, which I'm clear about, without no apology, the original people of this planet were all black.
Yes.
Everywhere on the planet.
Course,
so there was no Africa.
Course.
There was no Africa from where everybody came from. It was planetary. The land was a planet mass. So everybody was from the solar system, and were the soul people, the solar people. I'm clear about that much, right? So what I'm saying from that point on, another, as far as I'm concerned, and something else has come into play. So I haven't got that mindset you've got. I've come through that mindset. I've dealt with that sort of mindset coming up in lots of different mindsets as I was growing older, trying to find a closer version of what I think made sense to me, not what makes sense to you. So necessarily, I can't come to terms with we are the Hebrew Israelites, because we've been mixed so badly that nobody knows who anybody is. But you can adapt to sing and say, well, this is what I want to be. I want to be a part of the Hebrew Israelite, and I want to follow this tradition. I get that. But you can't call me a Hebrew Israelite, because I denounced that. You know what I'm saying? You can't call me an African, because I denounced that.
Yeah, because one thing we need to go back, don't forget back in the slavery days, when they give us our poor parents a Sunday off and teach them the Bible their way, my brother. So
they teach everything is their way. They've robbed you of the idea of if there's any other beings on earth. They've taken that away. They've hidden in the fact these people are liars. So some of the stuff that you're following, biblical stuff that you're following, a lot of biblical stuff you're following is lies. It's based upon the manipulation and the misinterpretation, and also the manipulation of the Bible to suit a particular mindset. So therefore, you're reinterpreting the mindset that was already misaligned in the first place. It's not a real interpretation. The things that are supposed to be like in the Roman Catholic Bible, which is still a part of the Bible. You can't have a book and it's called Carlos. You can't have a book called Carlos and then take 15 books out of Carlos and say the book is still accurate. Or you can't take 100 books out of, there's 1,000 books in Carlos's book, and you've taken out 100 books and say, yeah, it's still the same book. So straight away, you're dealing with an erroneous project when you start talking about the Bible. You know what I'm saying? The Bible has been turned upside down and inside out. So getting the truth from that error, you know what I'm saying, is up to an individual. I'm not saying you're wrong and I'm right. I'm saying that's your business. That's not my business. I'm not into that. I've already gone through that streamline of thinking, and I don't believe in none of that stuff. See what I'm saying? So there's no disrespect to you. It's just that you're on that trip and I'm on this trip. And then somewhere in the middle we meet and we decide, and you try to tell me of the journey you're on. And I'm saying, well, my journey is different to your journey.
Oh no, so let me get your point. So, like you're saying, according to the curse in Deuteronomy, we in the biblical Israelite, the Bible talk of things, right?
No, I don't necessarily think that. If you're talking about human beings, so we've got to figure out if the first people on the planet, they don't let me finish. They don't have a name. They would have been human beings. All these other names that have been given to them is when they've been, you've had to tribe them off and bunch them. So God found a particular bunch of people with all the people that was created on the planet and said, you're the chosen ones. Now, even that itself is not fair and it's not balanced. Why have these people?
Yeah, but that's Jacob, 12 sons though. Jacob and...
that means that there was an error from the beginning, because now you got 12 sons and this one is the best of them. So the error was there from the beginning. You should have 12 sons and decide that these 12, and this is my view, and decide out of the 12 sons, who's good for what. No, this is if I got 12 sons myself now, and I said right now, of all my sons, I'm only going to bless Carlos, then the rest of them are going to say, oh, I'm to my daddy, sir.
No. That's where you're getting it wrong. Yeah, Jacob cool all his sons and gather them together, and tell them what's going to happen to them in the future. So, from Reuben to Simeon to Levi to Judah to Zebulun, Naphtali,
Isaac, all of them, Benjamin. I know all of that stuff. What I'm saying to you, there's a difference between one and the other. You can't tell me that. What I'm saying to you is that you're talking about one particular tribe, the Hebrew tribe, the tribe of Israelites. I'm saying that it's just like how the Jews are calling themselves Israelites. You can call yourself what the hell you want. I'm saying
man.
there's... What do you mean, man?
The They say they're Jewish too, my brother. Yeah, they say
No, I didn't, bruv. I didn't say that they are. I said they're calling themselves that. I didn't say they are that.
Yeah,
so I'm saying you can call yourself what you want. That doesn't make you that thing. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm just using it as an example.
But in Revelation, where Christ say, I know your tribulation, and your poverty, but you're rich. Yeah, meaning say all the promise, my brother. Yeah, but not say you must go and all the promise in this book is pertaining to the Israelite. So that's why Christ said,
bruv, I don't believe that though.
But I know those who say they are Jews, but they are liars. But it's synagogue of Satan. Don't forget that. So Christ called them Satan children. Them fake caucasian Jews from Georgia.
Yeah, I understand that. That was back then. I'm kind of going back to that was back then. There is no evidence that Jesus even existed, so that's a whole other story.
No, my brother.
Sorry?
Yes, I don't think these curses, because in one of the curses they say, it shall be to you as a sign and wonder, means for a generation, means each time you see like a black person.
How long's a generation? 12,000 years? I don't know how long it is. I thought a generation was like your mum and your son. I thought that's a generation. So if you said a generation, then it's that time, not this time.
No, so you can only go to fourth generation, but we can't go further back.
I'm saying. So I get you, bruv. I get you. I'm saying that you've decided that's what you want to follow, and I'm with that. I'm saying do your thing. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't. Nothing that you're gonna say is gonna convince me that what you're on the right path.
No, I don't want to convince you, my brother.
No. What you're doing? You've got. Listen, my belief is this. My belief is this. This is my belief. My belief is that my God would thump your God in his face and lick him down. That's my belief. Your God ain't saying one. That's my belief. Does that work for you?
So who's your God?
I haven't got one. I haven't got no name. He's got no name because that's how tough he is. Huh?
Shut up, love my brother.
So I'm saying, respect. So I'm saying, this is how it gets silly. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, these are figments of our imagination. They're not real. So I can say anything at any time, and it still resonates in reality. You know what I'm saying? So you have to want, in my opinion, you have to want to wage war. You have to want to wage war with another human being in order to make that thing work for you. This is not a peaceful way of going about life. This is war. Bruv, the Bible is something that I was reading through years ago. Okay. This is not new to me. I'm not new to this. I've been on the radio for 17 years. I've been about this thing. I've been through Muslim, Rasta. I'm not new. I'm not a youth man. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying to you is that I already reached that level where I already passed through that mindset where I don't believe in that. That's what I said to you. My God will thump your God in his face. Nothing I got up. Nobody can do me nothing. You know, we can do me something. You see what I'm saying? Like, well, my football team's better than your football team then. You know, well, Arsenal's better than Tottenham then. You know what I'm saying? It's a madness. It doesn't mean anything. If you focus your life into something that's meaningless, then your life becomes meaningless. If you think that you're going to keep talking about this meaningless God that doesn't exist, never shown his face, but you can call him a him, and he's the greatest of all time, and he's the most high, how the hell do you know who the hell he is? There's no way.
Sorry, Doctah. Sorry, So can I just read this? Just look into this and tell me. Not safe enough, but I just want to read you just one little thing.
Go on, boss.
The most I say, I will say, for I shall make you serve other God, which neither you nor your father have known, even wooden stone. So what's the two great religion now today?
Bruv, that was around back then. That's not has to do with now.
Brother, come on.
That's nothing to do with now, bruv. It's been such a mix-up.
All right, then. So the two main religions right now where Christ warned us, we're going to serve wooden stone as well.
Bruv, what? All right, then. Let's go back.
And Islam, the stone, the cover stone. That's
bruv. Before Islam, the stone, right? They got a thing called the Kaaba.
Let's have a good show, my brother.
Thank you very much. All right. All right.
Shalom, my brother.
All right, peace.
I'm going to fold it back. Let me fold it back. You can't wait for the grandson at the moment. Bless you, my
brother.
All
right, peace, bruv.
The most thank Christ bless. Bless you, brother.
Right. So, like back in the day, the Kaaba was full of loads of stones and artifacts. Before that, they was telling Abram to smash the stone idols. God knows, I don't know where these older idols come from. They found artifacts of ancient stone shit that they used to worship. That's got not, you can't then focus it all and regurgitate to say this is what it means for today. That thing was written it has nothing, it mentions nothing about anything to do with the future. It doesn't mention television, it doesn't mention, like I think somewhere in the Quran it talks about the bee and what goes on and da. So it says it knows some stuff that we found out later on. Where's the telly? Where's the football matches? What are they talking about? Genesis 91, I'm Dr. X, who's speaking, please.
Hello, Burchak, Dr. X is speaking. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly, sir.
Yes. I'm not going to go way back then. I'm a Muslim, so from Turkish I'm Muslim. But, I wanted to go to Tanir because I'm already sick and tired of my community talking about history. I've seen channels, I'm sick and tired of we were kings and queens, we were Ottoman. I was sick and tired of it. So I'd like to be interested in now. The race you were talking about, different kind of races. Yeah, I believe I'm Turkish. I've got no Arab mixed in me, but there are some people out there that are English and they can't call themselves pure race because English, there's either Saxon in their blood, there's even the Turk in their blood. There's some people now that have gone very, very, there's no such thing as a pure race English anymore. There's not even white anymore. And the English are getting scared because they're mixing out with the blood and they're getting more and more darker with Turkish, with Arab, with Moroccan, and they're getting scared of that, even the right wing. But you know what? The angel, you know how they say the angel, I believe in the religion, I believe in the devil, I believe in the angel, and I believe in a God that is not he or a she. There's no something that's unimaginable. I can't, astaghfirullah, I can't see God, unimaginable. The angels isn't a he or a she. The devil is not a he or a she, but you know what I mean. But the angels, in the end, is going to win, and everyone is saying, I questioned the scholars in Islam and they listen. There's not like this brother where he just jumps in and argues a point. They listen, yeah. But even though we have disagreements at times, and I say, well, sometimes why does God look down, doesn't help at times. But what I'm saying, that I, at least as a friend, as not a friend, but as a thing, I can phone up and I can agree or to disagree with some of the things but there needs to be togetherness, and I don't know, but people are saying that there's not that togetherness in the community. Everyone's disagreeing. The same like in our community. Everyone's got a different kind of Islam, but there's no togetherness. Either someone has to stab us in our back, and it's the same thing. But I believe that I'm Turkish, and at the end, I don't believe that I'm English, although they're trying to put up now races, different races. They're trying to tell me, I'm British, and trying to contaminate my mind, like Jehovah's Witnesses comes in and tries to contaminate my mind with a different religion. I've got this religion, but they're doing this everywhere they go. Israelites, I'm sick and tired of Israelis. I don't like them, I hate them so much. Israelis are...
Right, so here we go. I get ya.
Israelis.
I get all that. Yeah, I don't really want to go into. Listen. I don't want to go into no religious show. Yeah, you're still a little piece, and that's nice.
Yeah.
You got anything else you want to say?
I'm just saying that these people are mixing out now in England, and
right. So we're talking about. So I'm talking about the Caucasian blacks. Yeah, so I'm saying that there's a lot of us. All this you can't be a particular race or particular tribe. Because there's no trace, you can't. You've been conquered by a race of people, you know what I'm saying, and they purposely mixed you in. They're purposely mixed into you. The Israelis and the Turks. The Turks are part black. You know what I'm saying? They're part of the original human being. What people are thinking is that there are other races. There ain't no race. There's only one human being, and that human being is black. You know what I'm saying? It's black or brown. There's no white human being. Black. So anything that's got white in it has been mixed in with a human being. You know what I'm saying? All human beings would have had to have been solar. They would have had to have been a part of the solar planet. So they would have had to have been black. There's no 2-3 ways about it. So the first man would have had to have been black. There was no first white man being in creation. He was then. How would he then? What did he get created and then couldn't live on the planet he was created on and run into a cave? He came at a later date when after creation, because he had to run into a cave to protect himself from the sun that feeds the earth. He had to run into the cave to run from that. So I don't know where he actually originated from, because I don't know how you can. It's like, how can you originate on a planet that has a particular way for you to survive, and you can't survive with that? You know, and that's like saying that people were sick from back in the day. I don't necessarily believe that. People believe in all sorts of stuff. The non-solar being, Turkish, Eastern Europeans, Russians, and all these people are people who have destroyed the original human being and integrated and created this version of a human being, this mankind-like human being, which has become so vicious and so that's why some Turkish people they're a bit like black. All these people that have kind of come from black are kind of like black. You know what I'm saying? But the whiter you get is the further away you get from being a human being. I don't care what, it's no good just calling me a colour. You got to call me by my race, which is human. You know what I'm saying? And we ain't all human beings, because I don't agree with that. I don't necessarily be I'm a human being, yeah? And I come from the human race, not the black race, the human race who just happens to be black. You know what I'm saying? All the human races, all of human race on earth would have been black or brown. That's just it. I come from the human race. I don't come from black, and I don't come from Africa. I come from the human race. So anyhow I mix, I'm still a human being. If I mix and I'm from, you can always change your tribe. The guy, Carlos, the caller, just said that the Jews that are now Jews are not the Jews. So that means that you can call yourself what you want then, because they're not the same. You know what I mean? What I can tell you is that they don't originate the same place as I do. On earth, because my kind is friendly with the sun. My kind is at home with the sun. Their kind is not. This is what we're talking about. So, and then I'm yet to go into the Caucasian blacks, because I'm trying to say that a lot of black people now have turned into Caucasians. A lot of mixed people, like the Spanish and the mixed Portuguese, they're mixed race people. They're people that have mixed recently with Europeans and created another spur of colour. So you will see a mixed race Spanish person who look like a mixed race Jamaican person. You know what I'm saying? You see them as Spanish. That's a Spanish woman because she's kind of light and da-da-da. But actually she's mixed race. But she's mixed race born in Spain. And what they're doing through Earth is going around and mixing out the whole of human beings. Because when you say human beings, you can only think of a black person or a brown person. They are the original human beings. So if they're mixing in with human beings, they're mixing us out and mixing in this new type of being. But that's for some levels that, you have to be on. This idea that we're going to turn back to the Israelites and find our home. Yeah, your mind. That's not going to happen no time soon. Never. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to happen. That's some dream wars. La, 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 la. I just talked about that. La, la land. If you think that's going to ever happen, nothing on this planet, in terms of, unless the planet stops and starts again, goes back to what it was. So if you're looking for that, you're just going around in a tiny little circle. I know where I got, as far as I'm concerned. You understand what I'm saying? Thanks for the call anyway, yeah?
Yes. I'm recording the show and I'm going to put it up on YouTube. I'm doing it as we speak
Thank you.
now. I've already uploaded another
one. Okay, thank you very much, yeah? All right, thanks. Bye. 07931276232. That's 07931276232. As I said before, yeah, I'm not... We've had these conversations. I'm not at that place anymore. Genesis 91. I'm Dr. X. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, brother Carlos again, brother.
Okay. Back on there. What can I do for you now, sir?
Yeah, no, you were saying about, you don't know where the Caucasian come from. When you say they went to the mountain, you can show you in Genesis how the Caucasian come about. Yeah? Yeah, the white man. But they ain't really white, they're red. It's Esau. Esau is a white man, where it is out of Jacob, our forefather, brother. Hello?
I'm listening. You're telling me.
Yeah, so could I, if you go to Genesis 25, you permit me to read it out on your program to show
Sure
you
you
where
can.
the Caucasian come from.
Sure you can.
Yeah? Okay, wait, sir. Thank you, my brother. Yeah? You see, because what you say about the shade of the dust, my brother, this, yeah, you're on point, because if you look on the dirt, yeah, it's different shade of brown. So so we were the original man. But where the white one come from, yeah, let me prove this to you, brother, yeah? It's in Genesis 25. Yeah, that's how the Caucasian race come about. Yes? Wait. Listen, yeah? I'm going to read from verse 21 first. Yeah, this is Genesis 25, verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it is so, why am I thus? And she went to entreat on the Lord, and the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowel. And the one nation shall be stronger, you know who's stronger, and the other people, and the older shall serve the younger. So the Lord is saying, who come out first shall serve the younger son, right? This is my brother, yeah? Verse 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there was twin in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. So you see what I'm saying? This is the way the Caucasian come from, yeah? When Isaac's wife was like barren.
How can he be Caucasian and it says red?
Red? Yeah, 25 it say, and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. Come on, my brother, you know. Yeah, Timmy, just like what you say, yeah? You see,
Brother, you can't use that brainwashing tactic on me. If it says red, it says red. You can't then tell me, come on, my brother, like I'm an idiot.
No,
it says red. That's what I heard you say. Red, not white.
Red, yeah. No,
so the rest, you can't then come on. You can't fill the rest in with, come on, my brother.
No, this is what I'm saying to you, yeah? Listen, they call themselves white, you have to be pure, but they're really red. All right, yeah? What do they call them in America? Yeah, the South, rednecks, innit? Meaning, say, like, yeah, you said it right, yeah, when the sun shines on us, yeah, the melanin, yeah, protect us. But when the sun shines on them, the blood show up in their skin.
Bruv, you're making that shit up. That's rubbish. Do you know what I'm saying? The red because the necks get red at the back. That's nothing to do with them being red. You know what I'm saying? He didn't say, and he came out Esau and run to the cave, or he run from the light. He said he came out red and hairy. So what's that got to do with him being white or Caucasian? What?
Which nation is with an area all over?
Say it again?
Which nation on this earth is red and area all over?
Oh no, I don't know. Yep, no, they're not. Some of them are. It depends on what their mix is, bruv. Like, whatever they came out of, right? Whatever they were, and whatever this stuff that they came out red, which is like, you know, it's still. Yeah. I don't know what color was it. Red like red paint. I don't know what red it was, but all I know it wasn't. They didn't say white. They didn't say cream or anything to do with something that the red can absorb the sun. So these people we're talking about are not good with the sun.
Brother,
so it wasn't there.
Yeah. When you get some time, Google Esau, Esau, and then you'll see he was a forefather for the Idumean, the Roman Empire. Yeah, Edomite. He's a forefather for the Edomite. Yeah, just like Abraham's first son, Ishmael, is a forefather for the Arab race. Yeah,
right, okay, bruv, okay, that's, you know, we're talking about a small part of the planet at a given point in time, where I don't know about the Edomite race, I don't know how they evolved into being Caucasian people, you know, and they was meant to be red when some of them are paler than paleness itself. So, sorry?
The same one that goes to Mount Seir live.
Sorry?
The same one that went to Mount Seir live.
Bruv, there's so much missing. You know what I'm saying? That's not enough information for me. You know, you're using a Bible that's been bastardized and ripped apart, and with limited information, and you're taking the fullness of information out of it, and then you want to pass it on to me as if, it's deep, and it's not that deep. There's too much missing out of that book. I just explained that to you.
Yeah, just Google Esau.
It doesn't matter what I Google, bruv. It doesn't matter if I Google Esau or Christ. If I Google Christ, it's going to say he did this. It doesn't mean it's real. A lot of information today is false. Anyway, a lot of information in the Bible is rubbish. It's false. So it doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter if you add to it.
How the Caucasian come to be about. So
But the problem is, I'm saying I don't believe that though. What you just said to me, you've given me an idea. You give me your idea based upon your understanding of your life and the Bible. That's how he came about. I don't believe that. That's just, to me, that's crap. You just said he was red. Now you're saying that Esau is the father of Rome. So if he is, I also have another story. Bruv, let me finish, bruv, let me finish and then you talk, innit? Right? If Esau was a father, they also said that... Rascal. No, imagine this now. They also said that that Rome was formulated by two dogs, Romulus and Remus. You know what I mean? So, there's lots of different stories. If you say that's the right one and that's the wrong one, that's how your business again. That's not my business. I'm saying that where my head's at and what I know is what you're taking it back. What you're taking with what your information is.
I'm gonna put two.
Bruv, you're not listening. You're not listening to let me.
Two different nations. So we call two different nations. The Japanese and the Chinese look alike, but they ain't the same.
As far as I'm concerned, they're all Caucasian, but that's another story. But the point I'm making isn't that. The point I'm making is that you're giving me your version of events, and I don't believe them. That's it. You know what I'm saying? There's no proof in what you're saying. So all you're saying is that this is from the Most High, and then in your answer, and what you're gonna do then to me say, so where it come from then? This is backward for me. I've been doing this for over 25 years. Where you're coming from is something that is an argument we've been having for over 25 years. It's dead. It's a dead argument. You know what I'm saying? Where you're coming from? Oh, so where does the sun come from? Or where does this... I don't know. I don't care. I'm following a journey to find out something more than the Bible. That's the journey I'm following. How about that? So it doesn't matter. Because you've got an answer, then your answer should be my answer. Is that it?
Salam, my brother. This is the record, my brother.
That's no record. That's no rubbish. The Arcadians also a record that them not listen to. Way before the Bible was created. What are you talking about? That's a record. Read the record before that record then and see. Read the record that was created before the Bible then and see. What are you talking about? That's the record. Follow what you're following and run with it. But don't convince me of it. I'm not that brother. This is not preaching time. This is not conversion time. Salam, bro.
Let me listen to you and get some more idea from you.
You do whatever you're doing, bro. You know what I mean?
The Most High.
Yeah, your Most High, my Most High. My Most High, like I said, is better than your Most High. That's what I'm saying.
Nah, man.
Yeah, man. You see, Arsenal is better than... I told you, Arsenal is better than Tottenham. It's simple, isn't it? It's meaningless. It's meaningless. The only meaning it has is that you give it. That's the point I'm trying to make. Other than that, it's meaningless. So, I'll say goodbye for that. Right, we catch you later.
Yeah, bless you, brother. Yeah, shalom, brother. Bless everyone. Bless you.
Again, right? I'm saying these are... Dennis, I want to you. Let's start a fire. You know what I mean? Dennis knows we've been doing this this is basic arguments. This ain't where we're at. We passed this 100 years ago. This is not where we're at. This is back there. This is for a different type of mentality. One that has not, it wants to be there. It wants a cocoon. It wants a savior. It wants something to hide in it. The rigors of this life is too much. You know what I'm saying? There's the most bloody high. You're talking about a king or something. You know what I'm saying? The ones who created us as human beings, nobody knows who they are, because the people who have the other races, or if there are such things, the journey I'm on, you know what I'm saying, are hiding the real origins from us and the real truth from us. So if you decide you look at a particular story, like I decide that I've looked at this one and say that I don't know where Caucasians come from, and I don't believe that Esau, he was red, now he's white story, and he went into the hills, so he became even whiter, and his nose grew exponentially long. Like, where was he living? In some next place? You tell me why a man's nose is almost like 1 foot long. You know what I'm saying? Some of these Arabs and some of these Indians and all that, when I say Indian, Asian Indians and all that, why their nose is almost 1 foot coming out of their face. And skinny. You tell me where that evolved from. These people are not, I don't know if they're from here or not. What I am saying is, though, you know what I'm saying? What I am saying is, though, I've just lost my train of thought because that phone is ringing. What I am saying is, though, I have my way of thinking and the next man has his. You know what I'm saying? So you to knock yourself out. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? There's no. You believe that? There's no real evidence about the Bible. We've had. I mean, if we were to count the amount of arguments that we've had and discussions we had about, excuse me, God and the Bible on this on Genesis itself, without me or with me, you know what I mean? We're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands. God knows how many thousands of arguments. You understand what I'm saying? This is an old argument. The Bible is an old school mentality where I'm at. Now, wherever anybody else is at, that's cool. But there's too much violence in their voice. There's too much violence in what they want to put across. You know what I mean? Because they feel they got it right, so they want to shut down everybody else. They don't want nobody else to speak. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, so where did that come from? To see you have an answer, yeah. And because I can't answer it for you, you're happy to believe what you want to believe. Then believe it, and just, you know what I mean, and just chill. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where the white man came from. I don't believe he came from no hairy red man. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe he lived in no hills. I'm saying that a lot of this information has been doctored by the same people that are trying to conquer the planet. You know, the same beings, the same whoever they are trying. That's my view. So that's my belief and that's your belief. And I'm saying my God can kick your God's ass. You know, all of this stuff about gods and all this, like, and the Muslim God and the this God, and none of them don't make one. They all just end up murdering each other over things. You know, they got the woman. How the hell can you have a religion where the woman is almost meaningless? You know what I mean? Where she has to hide and she's got to be this and she's got to be that. Where the hell did that religion come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm trying to figure out why the woman is way behind the man. Because in all of Egypt, there is no woman way behind the goddamn man. How the fuck did you get there? How the hell did you get behind me, under me, darkened off, and masked off, and like, do as you're told? When did you get that? When you dominated as a woman, you dominated the whole of bloody blacks. You were the king, queen of the rare. Your name was called like everybody else's name was called. Your name was called greater than some men's name was called. How the hell did the woman, the original human being woman, end up being a man's slave? And this is what these people want you to follow. Yeah, the man gets her first and the woman chuckle on behind her. The bringer of life to this planet, she's some like a second-rate being on the planet. Where do you think that would have come from? That's not earthly and that's not human. Now these people now are they're trying all different types of versions of things to try and be human. Oh, the woman's got rights. And when did they start to give the woman rights? Just the fucking other day. The woman had rights from the dawn of time of the creation of the human beings. The dawn of time. You know when that is? Beyond the time of the Bible and all of them motherfuckers. Did I say motherfuckers? Yeah, I think I did. You know what I'm saying? It's beyond there. You understand? So I don't know where am I say. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me that crap. It's crap. Women are the crux of creation. How the hell did they end up our slaves? The slave of man. How did they end up the whores of the fucking planet? How did they end up there? That means somebody came and switched it. You know what I'm saying? All this like the Bible and yeah, and this girl, she's a whore, and this woman, she's clean, and what the hell? Where'd you get all this stuff from? This is some nasty mind that came into being later down after we were created. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You're talking about tens of thousands of years of existence. You know what I'm saying? Hundreds maybe. You're talking about, yeah, talk about said that is no. You know what I'm saying? Them tell you about television in there. Them tell you about internet in there. Them tell you about typing in there. The man did a type certain thing. You know what I'm saying? Them tell you about pornography and you know, and the porn channel upon the internet. And also, remember, we're not 30. We know this is 2017. This is not 2070. So God knows what's going to be happening in 2070. Oh, that's a waste of time. It's going nowhere. Where the hell is it going to go? In the year 2070, they'll be in a worse position having to switch and find another religion. Because it's not going to take them nowhere except for the little coven that they're going to be in, the little small massive group that they're going to be in, chat amongst each other, feel safe amongst each other until that wears off. And they all, I've seen it happen in my lifetime. Dennis has seen it happen. A bunch of people that have listened to this station and recorded on it have seen it happen. It's going to happen again. There's nowhere to go for it because there's no progression in these religions. They're run by people who are not that bright. You know what I'm saying? People that have not bothered to become, not bright, bright in terms of a European bright, but even bothered to be bright in terms of a more developed bright, a more humanistic bright. You know what I'm saying? They're still on this backward brightness of like, yeah, God, I go come and the greatest one and the most high and the father. The father? So where's the mother? Where's my mummy at? Hello?
Yes, Brother X.
Oh,
You're
hello.
here?
Who am I speaking to?
Yeah. You know what, right? You see this discussion you were having about religion?
Who's that I'm speaking to? Sorry, what's your name?
It's Fiona.
Fiona, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Right.
Okay.
And you was tuning in a minute ago, so give me your thoughts.
Right. I was saying that this discussion that you're having about religion, this is the reason why we can't move forward. Because, you see, even when we say that we're liberating ourselves from, say, for example, Christianity, we never move more than 2 meters down the road from the church. So the person that supposedly liberates his or herself from the church then goes into the Hebrew Israelite thing,
and then Muslim
from there,
thing.
They might move it into the Muslim thing, and then from there we say we're liberating ourselves because we're listening to some cultish personality in the Black consciousness movement, you know. And this is why you still have people that believe that what's his face, Dr. Umar Johnson is still going to build a school, because we're constantly waiting for a messiah to solve our problems.
Absolutely.
It's that mentality.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can't liberate ourselves from it.
But Umar Johnson and these types of people are plants in the community. They're distractions. Because remember,
I've come to that conclusion as well, you know.
Yeah.
I would even go as far as to say that they're part of a COINTEL operation.
Yeah, it could be. And I'll be sitting next to you trying to work out whether I agree, because I think that's you know what I mean. Like, it's like I haven't. You know what? The reason why I say that is because sometimes I need a moment to think deeper. I got that idea, but I can't just go yeah. I like to think and look at some other stuff, and then I go yeah. So when I go yeah. When you're going to argue with me now, this is where I'm arguing from. If I just say yeah, and somebody says something, you know what I mean? But I agree, you know, I'm on that line, because I'm saying to you that since the Black Panthers, we can't keep peace in our community. You understand? They've got all the gangs. They've got the national security has got workers in the gangs that's making sure there's war at all times. They got workers in the police. They got workers in every single political organisation. They've got agents set up in shareholding in every black institution. What's meaning something like BET, which is now, as you know, been sold. Imagine the guys who sold BET are sitting down on $1 billion and can't open a television shop. You understand what I'm saying? So it shows you how they lock you down. Means that they've got a non-disclosure agreement, and they've also got a non-compete agreement. We know that because they're sitting on $1 billion and can't open a radio station. That's why we know that. You understand what I'm saying? How the hell are you going to build a station from $100,000 and then you got $1 billion and can't build a shop? That means somebody's put something in place to say you can't do that. You understand what I'm saying?
It's a madness. And I always get suspicious anyway when a group of people are pretty much singing from the same hymn sheet and there's no challenge. You know, no one's really criticising or saying, well, hold on a minute, this don't sound right. Because if you notice, all of them, you know, Seti, Umar Johnson, just a whole lot of them, you know what I'm talking. Yeah. They're all pretty much preaching this same prosperity gospel.
Absolutely. And no one's not going nowhere. They're making money for themselves, but nothing. If you listen, it's the same rhetoric and narrative. Guess what? And the people them in the Chinese in Jamaica. Oh, you're telling me what I already know. Oh, and then did you know that back in the day, black people used to sweep the street? You're telling me something I already know. Did you know back in the day, we used to get beaten a lot? You're telling me something I already know. All they're doing is telling you what you already know. They're not giving you no new information. And then they're saying, look at me, I'm trying to build a school with £700,000. Just the other day, I've just managed to, you know, say that you can trace my history. Up until then, nobody don't even remember who you are. They don't even mention your school friends or nothing. This is Umar Johnson. All of a sudden...
Well, his real name is Jermaine Shoemake. You know what I'm saying?
No, imagine.
People don't even know if he's a real psychologist, if truth be told.
Right.
Because up till now, no one can verify his credentials.
Right, so he's been challenged on that, and he said that he's got a list of credentials that can all be challenged. But in America, they can fake your identity. They can give you a new identity in America and give you a paper trail of that identity. That's why they function. So you can't believe that. You understand? Because all of a sudden, he didn't lead with those credentials. Only when challenged, he presented those credentials. You understand?
That's
From
right.
the moment I
That's
started
right.
to do this, I led with my credentials. You know what? You know, none of those is one, but I led with them. You understand? You lead with what you come from.
Yeah, and the way that he carries on anyway, you just have to question.
He's a Caucasian black. This is what I'm trying to put across. Like, these are Caucasian. No, these are. Yeah, you think it's a joke? The Caucasian's job is to get rid of the original human being. Because I don't know where he come from. That's a whole nother story. Because we know that the Caucasus means the Caucasus Mountain. But what I can tell you is this: he's already gotten rid of the black in the Jews. So the Jews no longer they're not even Semite, which is half black. You know what I mean? Semi. They're not even half black anymore. They're full Caucasian.
But you know what? You know what? X just called them Ashkenazi Europeans.
But they're Caucasian. That's what I'm saying to you. They came from.
Yeah.
They came from the Caucasus Mountains. Ashkenazi's
That's right.
just down the road from the Caucasus
Exactly.
Mountains.
Exactly.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? So they are Caucasians. How did they do that? Why is there no more black people as Jews? Because that's what they do. They penetrate. This is, even if you look what they do now. Everything we have, they copy and they mimic. They mimic the way we hold each other. They mimic the way we spud. They mimic the way we high five. They mimic the way we hug each other, talk to each other. They mimic everything. You know what I'm saying? And then absorb it as if and then call us all human beings. But meanwhile, we don't mimic just killing animals for fun. We don't mimic killing birds and things, just watching the life drain out them. We don't kill just to watch things die. We kill in a recreative sort of way. We kill with prayer, sort of things. So we plant things back in the earth. You know what I mean? We're recyclable from the beginning. They've just learned recycling just the other day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They just learned about the banana in the last 100 years and the orange in the last. Where have you been for thousands of years? That is just you know about orange. You understand what I'm saying? The problem about this group of people is, for me, is that they are trying to destroy. They're using other Caucasian blacks to destroy other blacks. So you think you're looking at a black person like Umar, and he's a Caucasian. Because once you start absorb that energy and lying and tricking people, and the rhetoric he gives out, and that same Sudar Seti, the rhetoric they give out is just rhetoric. It means nothing. Sudar Seti must have brought his gun onto the set, some armed AK-47, you know, to say what niggers he's going to kill. They then, they plant the nigger kill mentality amongst, because they, remember, Universal's American, yeah? The three main companies, I think, what's the other one? BMG or whatever. Universal. Sony is Japanese, also Caucasian. And there's one more owned by the French. All Caucasian. Yeah. So they control what you say. So when you're selling them, when you're saying kill niggers, that's fine. But don't say kill Jews and don't say kill homosexuals. Just keep saying kill niggers and kill other blacks. Now you're going to kill that black guy and you're going to kill that black person. But don't say you're going to kill that white man. You know, and when Snoop Dogg did that joke thing with a bang, you know, they all went mad on Donald Trump. Yeah, you can't. There's one rule for them, because they are conquerors. Their job is to rid the planet of the original human being and replace it with the synthetic human being, and then call us all human beings or humankind. You understand what I'm saying? So the Caucasian blacks now are policemen who have been in the police service for over 50 years in America and have done nothing about the racism across their entire country. Yeah, the Caucasian blacks are the president of the United States. We know he's original Caucasian black, isn't he? Because we know he's part Caucasian. We know he's part Caucasian. His bloodline is part Caucasian. You know what I'm saying? So we know him. You know, we know the judges who are Caucasian blacks. We know the senators who have watched the economy of the world go down. We've watched the presidents of Jamaica and the Senate and the Parliament of Jamaica, who are full of Caucasian blacks, whose job is just to feed off black people as if they were white. Because the job of human beings is for the comfort for everyone, like how it was in Egypt when they found that in the Egyptian working quarters they had the same food as the king had. That's the way humans operate. These beings are not fully human. They operate from the basis of exploitation and abuse.
Well, of course, that's why they have to create an illusion of scarcity. Do you know what I'm saying? They create scarcity so that they can have their elitist order in place. You know what I mean? You've always got to have people that don't have enough. and then you've got a tiny little proportion at the top who have the whole lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's how they like it. That's how they maintain their order. That's how they maintain their power.
That's how they for whatever they are and whoever they are, they're not doing good for the planet. The planet is being hurt.
No.
The original human being, who's obviously having to be black or brown at least, at the very least, right, functions from this planet. His magnesium is from the planet. His copper, his cobalt, you know what I'm saying, his zinc, his iron, his iodine comes from the very planet's core. That means we are the planet. This group of human beings want to recreate a different version of the planet and add some other things that they made up in a lab and say this is the planet. And now the Caucasian blacks are selling out because it allows them to buy the particular technology that this group of people have brought with them. You understand what I'm saying? So you got so many, the Caucasian blacks now, that people say, oh, my brethren says it's an oxymoron. The Caucasian blacks are, you know they're there, the policemen, the black policemen are Caucasian blacks because they have no love for black people. They're just like the Caucasians. So what else can you call them? Oh, what? Just work it. What can you got to call them something because you got to realize like there is a them and a us. The system that they've created is always against the black man. The system that they call justice is not a fair system. It's not a balanced system. It's one based upon the ones who have already created the plantation energy and the abuse lifestyle, and they get the best. So the people who can get the best law are the ones with the most money. How's that fair? So justice, when you say they want no, you see, people are buying into the same slavery. They want no justice, no peace. What they're getting is no justice and no peace. So that's what they keep asking for. Remember they said they're not saying words that they're supposed to say. They're saying words that they're taught to say by the white people who work in the scenes and the Caucasian blacks who work for them. No justice, no peace. It says only what it says. No justice. You're giving yourself a chant. No justice, no peace. That's what you're telling yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're not saying, we don't get no justice, we're going to give you no peace. You're just saying it like a song. You're saying Black Lives Matter. You made it up because some Caucasian black told you that this would work rather than saying all human lives matter because it rhymed better and it was better for marketing. And they tell you what they want to tell you. So the Caucasian blacks are the one, they're not resisting. They're working for them. So these blacks are the ones who are the worst ones for us. All the ones that are, that work for the record companies that tell you that it's all right to sing songs of your sister's a hoe. If your sister's a hoe, then your mum's a hoe. You know what I'm saying? As your sister and let's go down the road a hoe, but your mum's not a hoe and she's not a bitch, but she's your mum. You've got it all confused because you want money so badly from the plantation people, them who never gave you back a penny, never gave you any rehabilitation in terms of the devastation, the cruelty and the mercilessness that they put on your people. Remember, youngsters, children, they're killers. Their race is a race of killers and murderers by their very entertainment policies. Killing is second nature to them.
That's how they got to the position where they're at now. They didn't do it through being nice. You know what I mean? They did it through subjugation and brutality and a whole lot worse. Utter inhumane. That means inhumane is another word for non-human. Right? So they look at humans and call them savages when they rape their grannies and murder their kids. The people who are calling the other people savages is because they might decide that they might rush their camp while they're sleeping and do them something or you know what I mean, send one of their children out to bomb it because they're at their wits' end in their last desperate attempt to be free. These people, they cut off their hair, they scalp them, they rape them in their sleep, they murder the children, they sodomite the children them. You know what I'm saying? This is the people that are calling themselves civilized and calling that people that they're doing stuff to like that savages. So you've got a reversal. This is what I'm saying, that you can't, it's difficult now for myself. I can talk for me. It's difficult for me to accept a lot of the stuff that they're reading as history because I realize that they're tainting it and they're vicious and aggressive race of people, and they hide their aggression from good morning, how are you, have a nice day, are you okay? Yes, exactly.
They hide it through all that stuff, but behind what they do, they murder people on their deathbeds, they poison, they kill, they have a killer instinct. I don't know if these people are up is the original people of the earth. That's all I'm saying, and I haven't come to a conclusion. I don't just wake up one day and then I've got it. Yeah, it come from the button. I'm looking at. Oh, that sounds feasible. Let me look at something else. Oh, I get that. Or that makes more sense. The Earth has been around for thousands of years, and you think in less than 100 years you're going to get it all? You're dumb. This is what they have us believe.
No one's been able to explain why they have Neanderthal blood in them and the original man doesn't. No one's been able to explain that.
You see it. You understand what I'm saying? Where the hell did that bloodline come from? Nobody knows.
Wonder. Yeah? You have to wonder. And then as well, you know, obviously the fact that they're lacking in melanin, the fact that, you know, there's certain things that are lacking there. And add to that as well, the harsh environment that they sort of came up in as well. It's like a psychopathic gene.
Well, which I'm saying, that's if you believe that's if you only believe in one race of beings in existence. You know what I'm saying? That, I mean, I'm just putting forth another theory.
Yeah.
And I'm with that. I'm with that. I'm definitely.
No one's been able to explain this anomaly, but you know, we know that there's something very anti-nature there, and that is why the way that they operate is anti-nature.
Right, and if it's anti-nature, that means it's anti-earth, and if it's anti-earth, that means it's anti-human. You understand what I'm saying? Once it's anti-nature or earth, it's anti-human because we are nature and we are earth. Everything that's in the earth is in the human gene, the gene rare. You know what I'm saying? They're poisoning at the moment as we stand speaking now. They're poisoning the earth. They're making the earth harder for the human being to survive in. They're taking away minerals and replacing them with some different things that they're making up. You know what I'm saying? Which suits a particular body structure. That means that this whole thing from the Chinese, as I think me and you spoke about this before, the Chinese, they're Caucasian. They're not the original Chinese. So if you look at a Caucasian person, just take a picture of the leg of a Caucasian and the leg of a modern day Chinese, and you won't be able to tell which one of them is Chinese. You have to look at their face, which is they call their phenotype, to tell that one is Chinese and one is white. They're both Caucasian.
True.
The Japanese, it's the same thing that's happened with the Japanese. Whatever they've done, and then they've wiped out the history of the original people. And so they, instead of calling the original samurais who were black, they call them the black samurais and dress them up in black. You know what I'm saying? The original Kung Fu people, they paint them as dark yellow. You know, all these things that they're doing, they're affecting. They came to a planet of human beings. I don't know if they came or whatever, and they're now slowly destroying them all. In Sudan, all the darker skinned people are being destroyed. In Pakistan, all the dark skinned people are being pushed to the back. Anywhere the dark skinned person is on the planet, which that means that without a shadow of a doubt, that person is one of the original gene pools of this planet. He is the one, or they are the ones who are being destroyed. So we are now even destroying ourselves with bleaching and all this kind of stuff. And now all the youngsters, they want a mixture girl. They don't want their mother anymore. They want this other mix, this more powerful mix, which is a mixed race girl, like a Latino. She's part white and part black.
Lighties with curly hair. That's what they're talking about.
Yeah, they're talking about that gene. So now what they're going to do, remember, light-skinned people very rarely mix back with black. They do occasionally, but then they create their own little thing because they've got that superior acting gene in them that says we are better than them. You know what I'm saying? So
not only that, sorry to cut you, but not only that, the way that the economic structure is as well. People want to partner up with where they feel power is.
Yeah,
they feel like if they partner up, not in all cases, don't get me wrong, but especially like in the sort of upper classes. If you look at the celebrity world, Serena Williams the other day, she's got with this Jewish guy. They're trying to partner up with where they feel that the economic and where the actual economic power is, not even where they feel, because it's a fact, where the economic power is. Not realising that wealth is just going to pass on into the European gene pool.
Absolutely. 100. I mean, I don't like agreeing wholeheartedly with people like that, but that's just like a fact. There's nowhere else for it to go. You got nothing. Your people have got nothing. Everything they have, they find a way to infiltrate and take.
Well, they took it. I mean, if you think about it, like the average European family had wealth to pass down from generation to generation. Now, us as Caribbeans, coming from slavery, we started with nothing, nada. Coming from slavery, we had nothing. So what do we have to pass down from generation to generation unless we somehow became successful between then and now to have some significant wealth to pass down?
Listen, what they're doing...
Things like that puts us at a disadvantage.
Yeah. And what they do... The only people that they sell, like people like Jay-Z now. Jay-Z's got some kids that he's had. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what they are, but he's got some kids that he's had. Talking about his last album, he's talking about he can't wait. You know, he bought a picture of 2 million and 1 million or whatever. You know what I'm saying? In his album, on his track, and he can't wait to pass it on to his children. Now his children look almost white. Who do you think they're going to end up with? You know what I'm saying? They're not going to end up with black people. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no version of them. Nobody's building up black. They're still following. They're like Caucasian whites. They're still following the Caucasian economic. The Caucasian economic is an abusive and exploitative one that is built on the disenfranchisement of a group of people. It's always been.
You're not lying. You're not lying. Preach that, because that's what I've been saying for the longest time as well. And this is the thing that really frustrates me, because I put it like this. It's almost like we're in a room where there's a giant elephant in the room, but no one wants to acknowledge that giant elephant. We walk around it, we talk around it. No one wants to touch it. No one wants to go there. We don't deal with that. We're going to work around it. You can't work around it.
You can't. That's silly. I mean, like, you know, on that tune by Jay-Z, he's talking about, you know, the drugs that you sell in your neighborhood, use the drug money and buy the neighborhood. That's how you rinse it. What are you talking about, you fool? You're telling me you want to buy a neighborhood where girls go in the corner and suck cock for money. You know what I'm saying? And the man them is selling the street and there's condom and that's a neighborhood you're going to want to buy. He's chatting rubbish. You know what I'm saying? These people, they live in their little glass house. They think because they've made money, because they've allowed them to make money, you know, talking about the death and the destruction of their own people as entertainment, they think somehow they're in a position to, you know, like to give us, you're an entertainer. You ain't no boss, man. You ain't no economic. You haven't come up like a Branson or anybody like that. You've come up as a singer. If it wasn't for singing, you wouldn't have anything. You know what I'm saying? We're not
they've been put there as... they've been put there as an entertainer to maintain that social control, because you'll have man like Jay-Z preaching that, you know, we should put our money into stocks and shares. Yeah. And it's like, ooh, Jay-Z's going deep. Nah, he's not really going deep.
He's a Caucasian. He's telling you, he's showing you how to be a Caucasian.
To use your term, a Caucasian black.
He's not that's not a black man.
I just call them agents, to be quite honest, whether they know it or not.
Yeah, it's the reason why I use the word, because I didn't like the word agents anymore. Or I was saying to my brother, coconut or bounty, they're they're phased out. Okay, at least you know what a Caucasian is. Because that's, you know, we know what they are. You know what I'm saying? A Caucasian black is these guys who are selling you the Caucasian lifestyle under a black skin, claiming that this is good for black people. How could you use the fact that they beat, hung, murdered, stabbed, raped, brutalized, tortured your people, them? You want to follow that economy and that way of life. They must sleep with dog. They must suck butty. They must nyam butty. They must nyam pum pum. They're doing everything that the Caucasian does and saying, look how great this life is. Let's be a freak. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, hold on a minute. When did we become like them? So that means that you want to be a Caucasian then.
We become like that. We become like them, because we've been socialized into it. You know, we've been here amongst them. And even if you're not geographically amongst them, you've got this cultural takeover. You know, you can't get away from America, for example, no matter where you are on this globe, because it's like a cultural takeover. It's an absolute global takeover. They take over economically, culturally, you name it. You can't get away from their ways. And so in the process, we lose ourselves. Because the same frustration that you feel that's exactly how I see it too. I can't understand how we're trying to use this same destructive, exploitative, wicked economic system and say we're going to liberate ourselves with it. To me, it's an oxymoron.
How are you
it's
stupid?
Stupid?
Of course it's stupid. And my brethren's telling me that everybody that he was courting was a white man. Yeah, Branson, and then it was this man. And I said, brother, are you a white man? You know what I'm saying? You're talking about, all you're talking about is white people. Yeah, but we're in that, and he was talking one bag of, I'm saying that's because you've lost your mind. Most of you now think, I said, when did you lot start talking about business? You lot only started talking about business when the white man gave you the opportunity to. I remember black people owning shops, and you went to them and said, yeah, I own a shop. They didn't say I run a business. They said I own a shop. You said, you went to a woman, you said, oh, I run a hairdresser. You didn't say I run a business. They've given you that narrative. Huh?
Or I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other new one. That's the other new one. Yeah.
Because what now? Listen, right, Doctor. I'm self-employed, but I'm not no Mark Zuckerberg. Do you know what I'm saying? I wish, and I'm not out here saying, yeah, man, you know, don't work on the plantation. At the end of the day, being self-employed is just an option. I'm still employed. I'm running my own business, but at the end of the day, it doesn't necessarily put me at an advantage to someone that's working a really good job and earning a good salary. It's just another option.
Absolutely.
But somehow this mantra has been put out there.
Absolutely.
You know, yeah, man, you just be an entrepreneur and that's how you liberate yourself. Bullshit. Sorry.
That's cool. Let's keep it real, man. No, that's how it works. Because I'm saying that's because they've listen, black people only have one media. One. And that's music. And they've got all the Caucasian blacks masking, not saying anything, styling and twisting and dancing to the Caucasian tune, so they won't say what me and you would say. The only media we have is black. If you poison that, you've poisoned everybody. And of course, that's what they've done. You're talking about smoke weed, and every entrepreneur's coming through either Jay-Z or one of them. How come you got only one entrepreneur? Well, you got all these other entrepreneurs, but only one, and they're all through music. They're all through gangster rap. They're all through fuggery and thievery and druggery and fuckery. That's where it comes from.
Exploitation. Yeah, it's all through exploitation because you've got to exploit in order to remain competitive. And to be big up in that game, you have to exploit somewhere along the line.
They're Caucasians. They think they're black, but they're Caucasians. You're in your own community destroying it and then talking about how bad you are and how big up you are. You know what I'm saying? And how you're the ding and you're the don. And all of them, all they ever can do is show off on other black people because the other white people who are their masters laugh at them. Even Jay-Z said in the song that even no matter what you do, they earn bags more than you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because you haven't got none.
What I'm trying to put across. Because that wealth is generational. Listen, these banks, let's take, for example, you got Lloyds, Royal Bank of Scotland, friggin' Barclays. They got that capital in the first place to build a bank off the backs of slaves.
Absolutely.
That was slavery money that they used to build their bank.
That's right.
So when I hear, we just got to get ourselves our own bank and we'll be free. Nah, it don't even work like that because I can give you a perfect example. In the good old US of A, I think they've got like maybe 18, that's 1/8 also black banks out there, a mixture of black banks and credit unions. It actually used to be more under President Obama. That number dwindled. It's kind of ironic, you know. But anyway, so they've got about 18 black banks. Now, can someone explain to me why, even in a nation with 18 black banks, poverty amongst the black community has increased?
Come on.
You see what I'm saying? And we don't seem to be able to make the connection that, maybe that isn't our solution. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have black businesses and we shouldn't strive for black banks and all the rest of it. Do that. I mean, if you want to shop in black shops, that's good practice as far as I'm concerned. But to say that is going to be the thing that will free us and liberate us, you know that's BS.
You're out of your mind. You're rock solid, bat solid nuts. What are you talking about? How the hell's that going to work?
I have to wonder, is it that we're not that intelligent? I have to wonder at times.
Well, that's what what it is that they manipulate our communities so that the intelligence is not fed to our communities. What they do is they in Jamaica, for instance, they're doing dry fucking and calling it dancing. Now you've got governments and you've got governors and you've got people who could have stopped that long before it reached today, but didn't because they were getting paid. Now that's dry fucking. You know what I mean? There's no dancing. This particular dance in Jamaica, people have died from. You cannot dance undead. We going to a dance. What was she doing? Yeah, my friend dead. What was she doing? She was just dancing, but she's dead. You know what I'm saying? This is the kind of dancing that they've got in Jamaica. No sensible person, because the governors are Caucasian. If the governors were black, they would say, hold on a minute, like your daddy, like your mum would go, hold on a minute, Uno mad? Something wrong with the Uno? Stop that foolishness. And they would have created just like how they created gun, what them call it, there was a thing that they called it like night watch where they call curfew and all that. When it comes too much, you say, hold on, no. Like how they're locking off dances early because a lot of more people have moved in, a lot of more foreigners have moved in and claiming that this music wait until the morning is not the one. But when the Jamaicans were listening to it, it wasn't a problem. But as the more foreigners moved in and it started to disturb them, then they shut it down. So you understand what I'm saying?
Not having it.
They're moving towards...
You could have entertainment or music that's affecting Ashkenazis, like how things are affecting our children, and there wouldn't be a massive, never mind public outcry, but a political movement to shut that down.
But
they wouldn't have it.
They're Caucasian. Of course they're not going to have it. They're Caucasian. Caucasians don't have what they don't want. They don't have.
Not
Simple.
have that.
It's
and
really just that
how
simple.
That degeneracy is being planted in the community.
That's right.
You know,
So that's what I'm saying to you.
Community once again, yeah, most definitely.
It's not that black people are dumb. Again. If you did the same to white people, how bright do you think they would be? Even over here, they're dumb. Because right now they've got the school system. Every year, the government takes money out of their poverty system. You know what I'm saying? The government and all the people of the planet have got money like sand. They have banquets where they dash away whole foods, whole chickens, whole fucking cows, whole pigs. You know what I'm saying? They dash away money and the community focuses on the poor. How wretched they are and how they're sponging off the government. The people...
you see, you touched on something. That's another thing that was making me feel increasingly uncomfortable. And I was just making me feel, what? And I'm hearing this out of my own people's mouth. This rhetoric of blaming the poor for being poor. So we're told dumb shit like, oh, you're poor because you spend your money on night trainers instead of buying land and stocks and shares. As if a poor person has got that kind of spare cash to invest in land. And
as if that poor person was educated to understand that with stocks and shares. These people go to school, which they educate them how stocks and shares work in school. You know what I'm saying? Right. So they come out, even if they don't want to bother with stocks and shares, they know how it works. These people come out, all they know is a stack. They know how to add, take away. They know about useless things like chemistry that they're never going to touch, useless biology that they're never going to be doctors. You know what I'm saying? And then they become slave stackers.
They come from old money. They come from families that have that capital in the first place.
They were doing it from...
help them set up a company. It's nothing. It's cash. It's casual.
Their nature is that. Remember, we did this show years ago about the Oliver Twist days. They've always exploited. They are a group. They have a group within their group that does not like people, and it does not like its lower classes, and it definitely doesn't like human beings. And it definitely, because I'm not dealing with the African. I'm not dealing with we're African. I'm dealing with human beings. We're the original. They've wiped out the complete. Now you look at if you look at the Aborigine now, and I think I did this. I think I put it on one of my sites. You know what I'm saying? The original Aborigine is darker than me, black. The 21st century Aborigine, it looks mixed race. That's what they do. They breed into your cultures and then they call themselves the same. So that's why I refuse to call a mixed race person black. I ain't got nothing against them. I've got mixed race friends. That's nothing to do with anything. I'm saying that you're not black. You know what I'm saying? You are mixed race. Your mum, when you wake up, you look at a white woman and your granddad is white. When you go and stay with your grandparents on that side, they're all white people. How can you be black? You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make... But the black... Being black in that way comes from racism. It comes from the Jim Crow laws of America, which is still standing and it's still racist. You cannot be black. You cannot be Obama and be black when your mum was white and you grew up with white parents. You are half black. That's fair. You know what I'm saying? Nothing wrong with that. Nobody's saying that you haven't got black in you, but you're not black. Just like I'm not African. I was not born in Africa. So what definition are you using? Are you using Africa as a race or are you using it as a country? Which one are you using it as? You're using it as a nationality or are you using it as a language? So
X, you see what, This whole back to Africa thing, it's become a religion as far as I'm concerned because, people that are saying that they could be coming from the Caribbean, like you and I, and saying that they're African, which part of Africa? Have you had DNA tested to see which part of Africa you're from?
That's right.
Because Africa is made up of about 55 different countries, no?
And there's north, south, east, west.
Talking about, and we can't all be coming from Egypt. We can't all be coming from, the great kingdoms of wherever. So, and no one's having a serious conversation.
They're all scared of it because they're all a lot of. In the destruction of the early human beings and the particular guardians and all that, they murdered and poisoned off a lot of the original warriors. So what you've got left now, you've got a lot of the farmers and you haven't got real warriors. That's why they turn on each other the way they do. And everybody's a bad man. Don't you notice everybody's a tough guy? Nobody just wants to be a person.
Well, you only have to look at this so-called, I just call it the unconscious community, to see what's being done there. The infiltration there is real. Because back in the day, that was at least a little oasis of sensibleness. You could go and get some sense from there. You had the likes of, Antioch, you had Ben Yehosen, you had actual scholars that used to go out of their way and actually, go on archaeological trips and all these kind of things. Now you've just got a bunch of simpletons making lectures from their mum's basement, and they're not even saying anything. They're not actually saying anything. It's a whole lot of intellectualism, mixed with a little bit of truth. So you'll get someone and he's using all these long words. He sounds like he's saying something deep. He's telling you that the Star of Dogon is 3,000 point something miles away from and then skip it 30 minutes forward, and the conclusion is, and that's why the black man shouldn't eat broccoli, because it fucks with his DNA. You know what I'm saying? It's that, and is that really what we're working with?
Oh, great for you.
That's all we have to offer.
You're great. You sound like me. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what it is.
I feel like, am I the only person that thinks this way? I can't be.
That's exactly because I'm saying it's just for what that sounds like me. But what I'm saying is that this is why there's a war against us, because the justice system isn't changing. Because remember, it's a justice system. It's not fair, because you can't use justice to describe justice. Is what I'm trying to tell people. Don't keep saying we should have better or more justice. Justice is based upon rich people controlling poor. I don't want no more of that. You know what I'm saying? I want fairness and I want balance. I don't want no more justice. You know what I'm saying? This is the thing when it comes to us as a people, that everybody wants to be clever because there's too many farmers and not enough, leaders amongst us. You know what I'm saying? You need leadership, but you need ones that, you need something with much more clarity than what we're getting now. What you're getting is rhetoric, as you said. People saying, it's 45,000 miles round the clock. Yeah. Did you know why? The truth about Get Out is that it was trying to show you that the black man is a bit of a slider. And it's the same.
Talking. Don't get me wrong. That's good for entertainment. I can watch that for entertainment value, but I ain't learning nothing from that. I can't take that serious.
No, they've gone into and broken it down.
Bert and Ernie, really. It's just entertainment.
Yeah, they've gone onto the internet, and all these guys are breaking down what it stands for. You're an idiot, man. Is that what you do? I used to do that. I did that back in the day with Matrix. Yeah, because that time people were sleeping at that time. You know what I'm saying? And didn't understand. And then we found out later that it's from the mind of a black woman. So there's a lot for me that and I didn't even want to believe it was a black woman because it was so deep. But it's now as I'm becoming less washed in the brainwash, or trying to unwash myself, or whatever you want to call it, clean myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to understand. Oh, so that's why I thought it was them, because everything they do, they make out like it's just them, but they're ripping off everybody all the time. You know what I'm saying? So now the same. One of the boy them. Sorry to cut you, but one of the boy them when make the movie, him turning a girl. And the next two movies them make flop completely.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that shows you that it wasn't really them. Yeah, they couldn't, with Steven Spielberg, he made a hit. Then he made another one. 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 And another one. You understand? Them man, they make the one movie, set a movie based off a black girl's mindset and can't make another one after that. How about that? And one of them turning a woman after.
This is what I'm saying. And that is what they've been doing this entire time.
Yeah.
A whole lot of plagiarism.
Absolutely.
And putting their own stamp on it and calling it their history.
Yeah.
And
instead of say teeth and them say plagiarism, your teeth, the people them things. Why
of course.
Yeah, I'm saying.
But that's what they do. And isn't that what capitalism is anyway?
Yeah.
Isn't it just teething?
Yeah, basically. And cheating and robbery and all different ways of legitimizing those things. You know what I mean? You got lawyers, you got companies in America that, if you can't go up against them. They got lawyers that, you know what I mean? Like if you're poor like me and you, they'll bring you a sheet of papers that it would take you 4 years to read through. And you got, and you know what I mean? The case is next week.
What happened to them poor Grenfell people when they were saying, you're killing us. At the end of the day, the place isn't safe. Rare. They threaten them with their lawyers. This is how the state will just clamp down on you.
That's what justice is.
Their legal force.
That's what justice is. That's what justice is. This is what I'm trying to tell people, that you can't ask for any more justice because you're getting enough of it. In fact, you're getting too much of it. So why would you ask for more when you're already? It's like you get poison, but you want more. More poison. You know what I'm saying? Why would you do that? That means you don't understand what the poison's doing to you. So you don't understand what the justice system is doing to you. So you want more of it. No, you want a different system. That system is based on the rich conquering and controlling the poor. How are you going to want more of that? You're going to be in exactly the same position as today.
I'm going to end like this. I'm going to make way for other people to call in. I don't want to just take over, But you'll get no arguments from me. I'm on the same page with you, and I'll end it the same way how I began. Our problem kind of starts with the fact that we're constantly looking for the next Messiah to save us. And at the end of the day, our solution is within ourselves collectively as a community, and that's how we should be doing our thing as a community. We should be creating economies that are community based.
But
Yeah,
and you're right, but I don't think they'll let you do that. That's the thing.
No, not without a fight.
Absolutely. Not without a fight, absolutely. Yeah, all right,
So
babe.
anyway,
Thanks
it's
for that.
time for that will come. But in the meanwhile, I just hope that people can be a bit more discerning about, the information that's being thrown out there. Anyway, great show as usual, and I'll carry on listening.
All right, thanks,
no worries.
Fiona. Take
Bless
care.
up.
All right, bye. 07931 276 232. Thanks for that, Fiona. So that gave me a little minute to make you understand what the Caucasian black is. What I'm telling you about. These people work for the Caucasian mindset. It's not going to be helpful to you. You know what I'm saying? If it was helpful to you, the police wouldn't still be beating us to death in the street and shooting us. There's hardly the Caucasian black policemen. They don't do anything. They never kill white people. They hardly ever kill a white man. They think 4, 5, 6 times before they even bust a shot. The white man, he'll empty his, they shoot. I've seen it on the internet live. One man on the floor and you've emptied your complete clip into him. What kind of being are you? This is why saying that you're black is not good enough. You have to make them know you realize that you're a human, and you realize that their behavior is somewhat subhuman, rather than let them call you savages because they open up some store and make you all run in there to get TV and you all climb over each other. They would do exactly the same. They've created an environment where that has to be promoted. They draw the money out your school system. They give you lackluster teachers. They spend all their money on their own stuff, their leisure time, their houses, stuff that entertains them, and then they sit on a whole bunch of money doing nothing but just looking at it saying, I've got power over you. This is, like when they have a business, this is what these black people want to do. You want to have a business where you're paying your staff some state wages. Somebody sent me something about about bodyguarding and bouncing, what I'm saying, and stuff like that, saying that, for 10 years ago they were charging the same rate they're charging 10 years later. Meanwhile, the business people that have grown like 100-fold in terms of businesses, but yet the money stayed exactly the same. They're not paying no money because they keep that's the state of this capitalist system. It's not a fair system. You know what I'm saying? You can have somebody and he or she doesn't know how much they're supposed to be getting, and you're paying them pittance, and you doing nothing except for, opening the door for them to do that job. It's taking more money than you're paying what you're paying them. You're allowed to do that because the system is corrupt. The people who run it have always been corrupt. The Caucasian mindset is a corrupt mindset. You know what I'm saying? It always has been and it always will be. So when you look at Caucasian blacks in the police force in England, in the police force in America, you see they don't do anything because they are supporting the same system that the Caucasians have put into place. They're working for the same bosses, and they're in the same system, and they claim they're black. So how can they be black? They're Caucasian because they're doing exactly what the Caucasians are doing. You know what I'm saying? Any system where you find out that the people are equally exploitative by their colour as what the Caucasian would be by their colour, you know what I'm saying? You can say they're Caucasian. That's a Caucasian black man. You know what I'm saying? He looks black, but his mindset's of that of a Caucasian. Doesn't mean, we're not talking about the ones there's men that's with white women and all that. I don't know. I just said that you can only tell them by their behavior. I don't know. But I know that most of the policemen the black policemen in America, they're Caucasian black men. Otherwise, for the years, the tens of thousands of blacks that have been in the police force since what, the civil rights movements in the 60s and all that, you're telling me not one of them? Not one of them. The only ones that ever come out are the ones that are Caucasian, like that black man that they've got spanning around, some black sheriff guy talking about black people deserve what they get. That's a Caucasian black man, and there's plenty of them. Hundreds of that they might not say anything, but by their inactivity, you can tell that they're Caucasian black men. You know what I'm saying? Are you, the other thing was like, are you converted or perverted? You know what I'm saying? Because what you think you're doing, like you're changing from one religion, like as Fiona was saying, from one religion mindset to another one. It's like you're dumb. You know what I'm saying? You're a convert. That means that you don't know who you are. You haven't become free first. You've just switched. You know what I'm saying? So you're either a convert or a pervert. That means that you're doing it because you ain't got nothing fucking better to do. You know what I'm saying? You're perverted in your thinking. Not converted, but perverted in your thinking. You understand? We have no more pervert. I talk about woman for stay at home. That's a perversion. You know, and that's not from us. You know what I'm saying? You know, in a woman to stay behind them and cook and clean and wash. You know what I mean? And that has nothing to do with the 21st century of being Caucasian. That's to do with anywhere in history where you're going to find that woman. You know, anyway, you won't find her in black history. You know what I'm saying? You won't find her in black history that way, yeah? You find like they've got a new film called The Black Panthers, and you got a whole bunch of women. They've got tribes of women that bust up, man, long before the make-believe tribe of the Amazon woman that they made up. We've got evidence of the black tribes of women that were fighters. You know what I mean? Like, what, you can say whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? The bottom line is that I'm saying we are clearly the original humans being the original human species of this planet. Clearly. You know what I'm saying? For them to call us savages and then savage us, you know what I'm saying, means that they are liars from the beginning. This is, so if you're going to talk about a demon or whatever, then you're talking about them. How you can plot your bloodline, yeah? From them time, they would order one bag of rape and mix up on Spanish and Scottish and Jamaican. How you can plot your bloodline to be of that same group of people, you're mad. The only bloodline that you can ever going to be a part of without a shadow of a doubt is a human one. Knowing that that's where, but because that's not in the advertised narrative, you can't use it. The Bible is an advertised narrative. You know what I mean? Because you have the Arcadian records, which is also, but it's not an advertised narrative. So nobody focuses on it. They focus on all the commercial narratives. So they focusing on the Bible. You know what I'm saying? As the means of who blessed who and who what not and what not. You know what I'm saying? But the Arcadian records, which was written before that, nobody talks about that one. You know what I'm saying? Nobody talks about the fact that it was a man and woman that created man and woman. You know what I'm saying? That's how you had man and woman. It wasn't a man that created man and woman that created the human beings. But that's a whole nother story. You know what I'm saying? So they're reading what they're reading and they want to believe it. And they're not going to come outside. They're in a little box. You know what I'm saying? There's tens of millions of books across and plus there's millions of books or thousands of books or tens of thousands of books that have been hidden and been destroyed that we'll never be able to figure out what was in them and the truth about our real existence. And also if they have another species of being emulating humanity or has bred itself into humanity and is now functioning as a human but is slightly disenfranchised to the original human beings of this planet. You understand? The human beings of this planet are effed. You know what I'm saying? Black people they're now the most violent people on the planet, and yet they make out as if they're not the violent ones. You know, they make out as if, their Thanksgiving is a sham. You know what I mean? A group of people allowed you with you can tell that the Indians weren't murderers because they didn't eat the white people that came there as what them call themselves again? Pilgrims and shit. They didn't eat them. They didn't murder them off as pilgrims and as people that wanted to run away from their murderous and their abusive king. You know what I'm saying? They didn't abuse them and murder them. And what did they end up doing? They abused and murdered the people that protected them and then have a special day for them called Thanksgiving when they just eat their belly full. Yeah? These twisted I don't even know what to call them, these twisted people. You know what I'm saying? This is what you want me to say I want to be like. And that's what you lot want to be like. You know what I mean? You've gone so far and lost yourself so far that all you can see is I want to be just like a white person. I want money just like them. You know what I'm saying? Because money is my liberator. With money, I can buy a house. I can do this. And you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if you lose your soul as long as you can buy yourself, you know what I'm saying, a pair of knickers or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Buy Louis Vuitton or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Then you're nice. You know what I'm saying? Niggas walking around the street in 200-pound Jordans and their bed covers is falling apart. You know what I mean? Got holes in their fucking duvet and shit, but they're wearing 200-pound shoes. Get your fucking priorities right, you trick. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with you lot? You know what I'm saying? Walking street and everything's about street. And you know what I'm saying? Get to reading, nigga. You know what I mean? Get to reading and writing, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Get to that shit. You know what I'm saying? And stop fucking walking around in shoes that you can barely afford. You know what I'm saying? Because if you could afford them, you wouldn't fucking be walking into a club in you know what I'm saying? And then having to jump the bus to go home. You know what I'm saying? Fuck's wrong with you? I'm saying you'd get intro into the club. You know what I'm saying? You get guest list. You know, and then everybody wants to be bad man. Everybody wants to be guest list. Yeah, I'm a boss. Right? You know, all this kind of stupidness. Because, you know what I mean? The way in which we enter into a relationship is based upon another set of foolishness. Oh, I bucked you in the, you know what I'm saying? I bucked you in the dance and your bat is big. Or I bucked you in and you look handsome. So I want to have your babies and that's it. And now with a community so damaged as ours, that is, you know, you won't be able to regain it with that type of behaviour. You know what I'm saying? You'd have to change your behaviour so that people are now with people that they belong to. Not women or men that turn out to be your, what I call sleeping with the enemy. Because at the end of the day, you end up with a quote unquote partner that's actually your enemy and not your friend. How can you have a partner that's not the father for your children and you're both enemies? You both hate each other or you don't like this about each other. That means you never liked each other in the first place. You were using each other for to get kids or I don't know. I'm saying you want the choices that you and the person's on the same trip. You know what I'm saying? So that, you know, when you have to make decisions about your progeny, about your children or whatever, you're on the same page. You know, two people, I want him to go over to the left, I want him to go over to the right, I want him to go through the middle, no, I want him to go over you know what I'm saying? Why aren't you saying, oh, let's let, you know, we already know he's going through the middle. You know what I'm saying? And if he decides or she decides, well, I want to go to the left, you say, well, you talk about it and decide because they're not your fucking property. Children don't belong to you. They're not your property. Women don't belong to men. They're not your property. Men don't belong to women. You don't own them. This is not a slave. You know, human beings never enslaved each other. They were conquered by a separate race to enslave them. And whether you talk about there was slavery or there was war going on before the whites got there, yeah, I'm not sure about the how deep that went and how it went, because people say it was different or whatever. But what I am saying is that you can tell that wasn't in the original human beings structure. So the idea that a woman was at the back and a man was at the front was bollocks. If a man went hunting, he knew what his woman was doing at home was equally worthy. You know what I'm saying? There was none of this, you wash, cook and clean while I go and do it. Like, if you like, see with even with like a lot of, you know, you find with a lot of Jamaican men as it goes, you know what I mean? They can do their own shit. You know what I mean? Because, you know what I mean? A lot of them always spark money, but a lot of men can do their own shit. A lot of cooks, a lot of wash, a lot of cook, a lot of queening, especially the ones that came over the last 20 years, 25 years. You know what I'm saying? This is how it is. You know what I'm saying? So this idea that women are ton of buck, it's rubbish. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying women should act like men. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying men should act like women. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we all have each of us have our place, and we should play from a position of on a level, on equality, not from a position that you are back and I'm better. You know what I'm saying? You have to do this, and I tell you what to do, or you want to look through my phone and find out what rare and this, that, and the other. You want to search up my apartment to see this, that, and the other. You know, you got issues, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, as I said before, you know what I mean? Like most of you are converted, you know what I'm saying, into the thinking like a European. You know what I'm saying? But what you realize, what you don't realize is that you've perverted. You're not converted. You know what I mean? Like, you know, your perversion, all this idea of going with kids, you know what I'm saying, under the age, a certain age and all this, that's not a black thing. That's a thing that you took from the pirates and the criminals of the white mentality. The beating, you know what I'm saying? That's another perversion. You know what I'm saying? That you think you're going to beat your child to death to get that. Don't you see the police still beat us as we stand today? They claim that, oh, you mustn't beat your kids, but you let a policeman can't get to hold you down and see if he doesn't beat the fuck out of you with his nightstick. Beat you, I'm talking about. You know, you got people, you know, learning to kill each other. You know what I mean? Through song. You know, every youth man is learning through song how to kill his brethren or do his brethren something. You know what I'm saying? And or how it's cool to sell drugs. So now when especially on America and internet, you know, now when they intervene, they're always talking about, oh yeah, when I was young, I was a criminal. I used to do this. I used to do that. Like it's some new wave of getting in. I used to be a fucking ex-thug. You know what I'm saying? Like, when did the thugs ever become an important part of any fucking society? When? Name it through history. They're thugs. They're never going to be anything more than what they fucking are. It doesn't matter. How can a thug tell you about how to save money? Because he's dumb. He's going to tell you what he's learned. You don't even know if he's learned it properly. Yeah, you put your money in this. Yeah, put your money here. But you're a fuck, though. How would I know to listen to you? Because you only know what somebody told you. You don't know what the reason they've told you it for. You weren't intelligent from the fucking beginning. You know what I mean? You wasn't bright from the beginning. So how the fuck am I listening to you? So all this listening to Jay-Z and listening to and 50 Cent and what they got to say simply because they had Jewish lawyers and people working behind them to point them in the right direction. All of a sudden that makes them clever. I got to listen to what 50 Cent has got to say. 50 Cent don't know shit about shit. You know what I'm saying? Well, no, that's taking a bit far. He might know some bit about some shit, but not enough to say that, yeah, he's the one I should be listening to, simply because he was a musician that got lucky and got through in a certain way. Well, you know what I mean? I want to hear business from a proper business person, not from some the only way out nigger. You know what I'm saying? Where they've only given black people one way to go through and they control that way, and that's most of your millionaires are athletes or musicians. That most of their agents and most of their lawyers are all white. So they mean that every penny that you get, they get some, and if you're not bright enough, they steal half of your shit. You know what I'm saying? How the fuck is that? That's somebody I got to look up to. Then you got the other, like I said, the Caucasian blacks in America who just support that system and call themselves African American. Because they're not going to do anything about the system. They're just going to go, yeah, as long as I can keep my child out of the ghetto. You know what I'm saying? How many people do you hear saying, let's close down the ghetto? Let's make sure there's no more ghettos existing. You can't, because capitalism requires ghettos. It requires poverty of mind. It requires poverty of state. That's what capitalism requires. So how the fuck are you going to beat that, bruv? How the fuck are you going to get out of that? In the fucking la la land. That's what you're living in. Hello? Who am I speaking to?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yes, is it possible for me to make a point, please?
Yes, sure you can. Who am I speaking to?
My name's Adam. I just called a few seconds ago.
Okay, go through, Adam.
Yes, are you MX?
No, I'm Doctah X.
Oh, right, okay. Is there somebody called MX who stars on Genesis?
No. I think there was one at some point, but no. Not now. I don't know if he's
okay.
I don't know if he's come back, but no.
Sorry?
I'm not aware if he's come back, but no, I'm not him.
All right then, okay. Because I was on Galaxy a little earlier on, and somebody rang in. I'm sure he said his name was MX, and he was talking about post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Caucasian blacks over here.
Okay,
yeah.
So it wasn't you who called in about post-traumatic slave syndrome on Galaxy?
What time? No, it wasn't. It just wasn't. So it doesn't matter what time it was. I would have been on this. If it was after 2 o'clock, I was here.
No, I think it was between... Yeah, okay, it was probably between... I'm not too sure what time it was anyway, but no, somebody just mentioned something about that, and I just wanted to make a point in relation to that.
Make your point.
But you say... Sorry?
Make your point.
Well, no, the young man said something like, if people back in the 1920s were much closer to our enslavement than they are today, and he was saying something about why is, were they affected by post-traumatic slave syndrome, and he was trying to find out, why that would be. And then I had an idea, but of course he's not on this show, so it must have been from something else. Okay, well, anyway, yes, well, thank you very much.
What was your idea? Then what was your idea? You've already phoned, so what was your idea? Share it. Let me see if I can do something with it.
Yeah, yes, I mean, because I was thinking that perhaps the whole option or the idea of choice had something to do with it. Because, I know that our people back in, the early 19th century, etc., had fewer choices open to them, as opposed to what we believe are our choices today. So therefore, when it came, because he was talking about Black Wall Street and places like that, where we managed to set up cities and towns which were very successful economically, etc., and also in relation to communities. And he was saying, well, how come they weren't affected by post-traumatic slave syndrome? And as I say, I think it may have something to do with choice, because back then, we didn't have as many choices as we're led to believe we have today. And so, therefore, when it came to creating a black city or a black town, which was everything was owned by us, that just seemed as if like that was the only option available at that time. But since the idea of integration has been put forward, then of course another choice was now available, where we came to ourselves, well, we don't have to go through all the hard work and difficulties of trying to establish something for ourselves. All we need to do is just quote unquote try to fit into white society. And as a result of that, we've not really got a great deal to show for that today. So maybe choice does have something to do with it. When we were given the choice, we thought, well, let's forget about doing something for ourselves and just try to blend in and fit in, which just was an absolute total disaster.
I think that's too simplistic, and I think that lacks what really went on. What really went on is that they destroyed and murdered and killed people because they had businesses. In what went on is that white people were the first people to riot and destroy shops and cities, shops and towns, and it was the black people. That's how black people then start to do the same back to them. So that went on first. So it wasn't a case of that we didn't. Wasn't a case of that we didn't have that we restarted because we wouldn't have choice. We started because we were human beings. We've been starting it ever since, but they won't give us the same, as you know. Well, I don't know whether you do or don't know. They won't give us the same. They won't give us the same opportunities again. That's what the difference is. You know what I'm saying?
You don't need to give anybody an opportunity. You take the opportunity.
Oh really? Like, how do you mean? Like how they took us into slave? You mean like that? Cause, you sound so like, oh, like it's just as simple as that. Just take it. Is that so? Because I thought it was a little bit more difficult than that.
No, I believe that like our ancestors back then felt that like they didn't have as many choices as what we believe we have today. So what I'm saying is that it's not choice, it's necessity.
You've just jumped a whole series of events to get to that point. I think it's improper to try and suggest something without the full facts. You can't jump. Well, you can, but jumping it just becomes ludicrous. Because how can you jump?
How did I jump?
Because you're missing out the fact that they were destroyed. Their businesses wasn't allowed to evolve. That's nothing about do with choice. That they were destroyed by white people. So how's that to do with choice? What's that got to do with choice between then and there?
What I'm saying is that the choices that we believe we have today is that we don't have to necessarily create something for ourselves, and that all we need to do really is just try to blend in and integrate. I'm saying, let me finish. What I'm saying is that like our ancestors back then, perhaps we felt, well, look, this is not a choice that we have, and it's a necessity that we develop and create something for ourselves.
Oh, is that you're perhaps in the next? Oh, you're perhaps in. Maybe you're perhaps in. Well, there could be a perhaps in it. What I'm saying, to further the story, if you miss out the bit that if you miss out the bit that their businesses were burnt down and destroyed and people were killed to get rid of that effort, then it becomes ludicrous. You suggesting it's because of a choice. It's not a choice.
Choice of what?
They destroyed them.
You're not listening. You're not listening to what I'm saying.
I am listening.
Listen to what I'm saying. What I said.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. What I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying. Okay, you speak first. Go ahead. You speak first.
No. I'm listening. I'm saying what you're saying is.
Sorry.
I've said what I've had to say. You want to come back and say something. I'm saying if you miss out that bit about the destruction of their businesses, it's just like if you had a white business now and black people came and destroyed it. You know what I'm saying? And then they try to, and they're now in a situation now. It isn't because they got less opportunity. It's not because they got less choice. It's because the black people didn't allow white people to start their business and further them in the first place. That's not choice. That's not because of choice. That's because of a particular an attack on black people and a destruction of their economic. That's like war.
So did you get from the statements I've just made that I somehow said that it never had anything to do with the destruction of black-owned business?
And like what I added, I said that you've missed that out. So by just jumping to choice, then it doesn't give a true reflection of what happened, isn't it? You cannot just miss. Well, you can, but to miss out a whole aspect of how you got to a point just makes it almost senseless. Why are you bothering to say that? Why are you bothering to even say that? Because it doesn't make sense. Because when you look at it, it's not as simple as that. It's not like, oh, the reason why, like, you can just come up with like, oh, the reason why black people, are so violent is because they were beaten there's so much more to it. So that's what I'm saying. It's pointless.
You got from my statement then that I somehow said that it had nothing to do with the destruction of black-owned civilization communities. Is that what that's what you got? What I said.
You didn't say any of that. I'm saying to you, this is what I've said to you. You didn't say any of that clearly. Yes, so we agree on that. I said to you that you
didn't give me a chance to finish though.
No, but there was nothing to finish. You had finished. I said that if you missed out that
finished.
All right, go on, carry on. Now finish.
So had I finished?
Now finish.
I'm asking you, had I finished? Now
finish. Let's not argue about have you finished, because that's another argument. Finish.
Well, like I say, it's a discussion. We're gentlemen. We're not arguing about anything. But anyway, going back to what I was saying is that when it came down to...
But go on. Sorry? I said I'm far from a gentleman, but go on.
Right. So what I'm saying is that, like, when it came down to our communities back then, maybe we didn't necessarily feel we had a choice, and it was a necessity for us to actually develop our own communities and our own towns and cities, because the other options which were available were not feasible. But nowadays, what I'm saying is, since the foolery of integration has been given to us, a lot of our people will say, right then, well, look, we've got another choice now. The other choice is that rather than go through all our difficulties and hardship of establishing our own cities and towns, all we need to do is just try to integrate and mix in. And so that's what I'm saying is this person called MX, I'm not too sure where he's from, but he basically seemed to be saying that why then weren't our ancestors back in the 20s and times earlier than that, why weren't they, or why aren't they affected by post-traumatic syndrome, slavery syndrome, as we are apparently affected by it today?
Right. So let me go back to say what I said again and repeat, because I haven't got from it. What you've done is you've missed out fundamental points in terms of why they started what they choice they had. You're saying none of this, almost as if this was like almost like it was all free. This is by force. This is by the fact that whether they had choice or not, there was no other choice in terms of they built their businesses, right? Their businesses were successful. Yeah, they were thriving. White people then came and rioted and destroyed their business.
Nobody's denying that.
Right. Well, we didn't even talk about that, so there's nothing for you to deny. We weren't talking about that. I'm adding that.
Okay.
I'm adding that because you didn't mention that. I'm adding that to what you're saying. So I'm saying now that because of those reasons, that added to post-traumatic stress syndrome. Yeah, so if there wasn't any, there would have been, because they realized that even when they tried to better themselves, white people were still hateful and racist. That's where you would then get, later on, you would have the post-traumatic, in this time now, you'd have post-traumatic slave syndrome, because they've realized just how vicious and how hateful these people can be. This is what I was adding. I said, for you to jump from that, again, like I'll repeat what I said, for you to jump from that, the fact you never mention it, I've got to get something out of it. You didn't say these words, but I'm filling in the gaps to say to you how we got to this position. If we were given the rights to carry on Wall Street, black people today and the businesses today of black people would be in a different position, completely.
Right.
So therefore, so I'm saying it has nothing to do with choices. That's not a choice. Black people didn't get their buildings burnt down by choice. You're saying that the business started by choice. The business started by choice. He's asking you about why is it now. I'm saying to you that the reason it wasn't choice that made them burn the situation as we exist now, that black people become, as you called it, integrated. This is by force. This is not integration. If it was integration, we'd have volunteered. If you burn down our buildings and burn down our businesses and refuse to give us money to start new ones, that's not by choice. That's by force. That's by manipulation.
So you know when I said earlier on about the necessity of having to have to create our own towns and cities, yes? Yeah. So what I'm saying is that I never said that was choice. I said that that as an option was really the only option to go for. Create your own cities and your own towns and your own everything. So I never said anything at all about choice having your place burned down or anything like that.
What I then said was that... I didn't say you did. I didn't say you didn't. I just, I'm saying I've added it to you to give you, to show the picture in a more fuller light, because it's like you've just made it so simplistic. Oh, it's because of the choice. It's not because of the choice. It's not. It's because of the violence against blacks. You know what I'm saying? When they did start their businesses, it's because of the rioting and the destruction. So if you missed that out bit and you said nobody's arguing that, but we didn't even talk about that. So of course we're not going to argue it because we never mentioned that. I just mentioned it, and to add it or to tag it onto the storyline so that anybody listening understands how we went from one place to another, rather than it was just choice.
Yes. When you added that, then I mean, like, of course, that's added a little bit more to the story. But do you think that we have got the same choice available to us now to be able to establish our own towns and cities and communities?
Obviously not. If they destroyed if they saw your business thriving and your Blacks Rule Street being created and they destroyed that, then one would then assume, or would then expect that there's a continuance of that almost like a disablement. Then it's a continuance of that. It's not that we are better at business. It's that all these doors that they realized that would have been open, they had to shut, because that would have realized that these people could create a separate economy, which would challenge our economy. So we have to. About that. Sorry.
I said I know all about that, but the question I put to you is: do you think that we have a choice now?
But I'm just explaining. That's what I'm saying to you. Then why would we have if this is the continuation of it? The first thing I said, obviously not. That's the first thing I said, and then I went on to explain why.
Yes. So do you think that we have a choice now? Then
that's what I just said. The first thing I said, obviously not. That was the first words out of my mouth before I went on to explain.
So we don't have a choice now, then.
Sorry.
We don't have a choice now to establish our own communities and businesses and cities.
No.
We don't have a choice.
Nope.
Okay, right. Well, that sounds quite defeatist to me. But I mean, of course, we're all entitled to think that ourselves.
It's not all political. This is if we don't have a choice. It's not defeatist. It's a practical view of the situation. Now, if you come to me in 10 years' time, it might change and do that. But right now, of course, we don't. It's not defeatist. It's an observation of a phenomenon. That's a fact. How are you losing if you haven't won?
Well, no. Well, I don't think it's a fact at all. I think what the situation is that if we did get ourselves in an organised state and we did follow a program like our ancestors did, we'd be able to get the same type of thing as what they've done today if we wanted to. But I'm sure you'll find that many of our people will say that they don't want to do it, or we don't need to do that because we're already integrated.
Oh, you mean like Gaddafi? You mean like get something like Gaddafi, get your own economy, you think that it would be that simple, do you?
He was running the country.
Right, so you don't think that black people trying to start their business doesn't affect the economy of that country? Given that the country in itself is racist.
Yeah.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. So what makes you think? So I'll just explain to you that no, it's almost. I'm not saying it cannot be done, but at the present moment, it's so difficult.
You did say it can. You just said it can't be done. You said no. I said, do you think it could be done? You said no. That's what you just said. No.
What I said, yes. Now it can't be done. I said if you come to me in 10 years' time, who knows? I'm saying now. My view now is it can't be done. That's what I'm saying to you.
That's what you believe.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, as I
say, you said that's
all right if you said that's defeatist. We're not going to agree on everything.
You said that that's defeatist. I said it's not defeatist. It's a view of a phenomenon. I can see what's going on. If they're going to destroy you, if they're going to destroy your buildings, if they're going to buy out your buildings, if they're going to buy out your record companies, if they're going to buy out your television companies, if they're going to buy any successful business that you start by finding barbarians at the door, you find them, or they find infiltrators with master shareholders to come in and to destroy your business from the inside, then take it from you, leave you with no option to start a new company, leave you. What do you think they're doing? Do you think they're making way for a new economy? Is that what you think they're doing?
Everybody knows. Anybody who knows in business is like warfare. In order for you to protect
like
what you own, you've got to be able to have some means of protecting it.
Yeah, they created the business.
We know that there's going to be sharks out there. Everybody knows that when it comes to business.
This is what Caucasian...
Everybody knows that. So ultimately, what we need to be able to do is to be able to protect what we have, and we will do that by working collaboratively and working together. Yes, we'll find a way to protect what we have.
Bruv, that's just
like all other communities have done.
You're talking like it's a fair playing field. You're talking like that's all you got to do. Bruv, this business was created off the back of slavery. Is
it possible to do it?
The whole aspect of business.
Would you say it's possible to do it or not?
Bruv, I just said no. Are you listening? I said no. I said the whole aspect, let me finish. The whole aspect of business in the 21st century was founded on the back of slavery. It was founded on the destruction of black communities across the globe.
We know that already.
So I'm saying...
We already know that.
Oh, bruv, let me just finish. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was founded on the black of the black communities. So you now believe that black communities are going to use that same logic, that same acumen to then free themselves and to build up business on like it's fair. The whole thing wasn't fair. So how are they going to then give you fairness? You cannot right? If you could have risen yourself by business, it wouldn't have taken this long.
What did you say?
If business could have taken you out of the situation we was in, it wouldn't have taken. We wouldn't even have got to here in this type of exploitation of black people as we are, and the poisoning of our communities with drugs. We wouldn't even got to here if that's what could have saved us. You believe in some kind of what?
Yeah, if you can just lower your voice a little bit because it's sounding very distorted. I can't hear you clearly. Maybe it's just my phone or whatever. But you said what did you say? If business could take us, what was that again?
Right.
Did you say that?
If business could take us out of this situation, we'd have been out of it a long time ago. Yeah,
but nobody's saying it's just business.
We're talking about business. We're talking about business. What else can we talk about? Unless you're going to add something to it.
I said communities. I didn't say business alone. I said communities, your own cities.
And I said to you, you said that we could do it. I said, no, it's not going to happen. You got to find another way. You can't use the mold that they've built.
Do you believe establishing your own communities? Yeah, because I never said business. You were the one who started talking about burning businesses down, killing the business people. I never said that. I said communities, cities and towns. So everything that you find in a community or a town, that's what I'm talking about. You were the one who took it into businesses.
Right,
so do you believe it's possible to set your own, for a black community to create their own community? Do you believe that's possible?
No. They won't let you. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much then, all right? It's unfortunate that, it would be interesting to see what other members of the who's listening actually think. I mean, do they agree that it's possible to create a community?
Gaddafi tried to do it. If you're not using something that hasn't been done before, look at what's been done before. It's not, anybody can do, you think it's hard to create a community. It's sustaining one that's going to be difficult. You said it was impossible. You said it was impossible. I never said that. It was you.
What?
No, that's what I'm saying to you. You're saying, I don't know. What we're talking about is evolving one, yeah? So, okay, you can start, let me take that back my talk then, yeah? I'm saying that it's maybe possible to be in a community, to start a community based upon what, I don't know, this is a bit more complex than that. But I'm saying to evolve a community, how are you going to do that? You can't, because it's not a fair playing field. They're not going to allow, otherwise they would have allowed Gaddafi to build his. You know what I mean? He didn't own the community. He didn't own the community. He owned bigger than the community. He owned bigger than the community. Oh, will you wait till I talk before you start talking or what? I said he owned bigger than the community. He owned a country, and they wouldn't let him do that. So they're going to let you build a community, but they won't let him build a country.
It's not comparable. You can't compare running a country to creating a community. If you look at what's happening today, you'll find people who are like from Eastern Europe who only came here, less than a decade, and they're already creating their community.
They're white. They're Caucasian.
They're running, and they're doing everything in those communities themselves. By your logic, that should have been impossible.
Bruv, when we came, bruv, not by my logic, and don't take me to extremes, yeah? I said to you, and I took back my talk, so let's keep it on point, and not try to get it a bit, cynical. I said to you, I took back my talk, I get that, yeah? Because everybody doesn't say everything right all the time. I said I took back that talk. I said let me go back over it, and I went back over it, and I said it will be possible to create a community. Anybody can do that. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, do you remember that, or you don't remember that? Well, it's in the
as
air.
I say, because it's shouting so much, you know.
Well, I was whispering that time.
Hear what you're saying.
I was whispering that time. So anyway, I am saying that if you build a community, it doesn't stay as a community, innit? It grows. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to stay as a community, is it? It's going to grow into something else. So what I'm saying is that these people, you just talked about a group of people who just came here the other day, you know what I mean, who happen to be Caucasian, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah? And they happen to not suffer from the waves of slavery that we have suffered from, because it started off talking about post-slavery syndrome. They haven't suffered from that. They don't suffer from the abuse that we suffer from and the continual racism that we suffer from in order to try and get our status back. So yes, the law is different and the action is different. So copying them, as I said, would be difficult. Yeah? Any group of people like that.
It's not a question of copying them. What I'm saying, is it possible to create a community? Is it possible that we could create a community? That's what
we came here as a community and they destabilized that. You mean create? Why would we need to create one when we came here as a community? They destabilized our community when we came here. We bought our own houses, we lived in our own blocks, we controlled entire blocks of South London, West London and East London, and they took them. This is what you're dealing with. You're not dealing with a simple playing field where you can just rationalize it all on as if you could be like white. You're not white. If you're not white, that's the only time it sounds right to you.
Yeah, we know that.
Right. So the only way that's going to sound right is if you're a white person. If you're black and you've been through it like my dad or my granddad, then you'll understand how difficult what you're saying is. It's not as simple as the Eastern Europeans or the Spanish or the Portuguese.
Is it possible?
No, but then it becomes ridiculous. He's saying that, isn't it? Now you're being pedantic and unreal. There's no need to keep going over. Is it possible?
My initial question was:
Is it possible that the sun will shine tomorrow? You know what I'm saying?
Is it possible, yes or no?
Is it possible that the sun will shine tomorrow?
Can it be done?
Can the sun shine tomorrow?
Of course it can.
Of course. So there you go. Then you've answered your own question. Then.
But what? Yeah. So what I'm saying is that I believe it's possible.
So you've
I'm not too sure what you're
question.
saying because the way that you're speaking, it's hard to understand what you're actually saying.
Well,
but I believe that when it comes down to the whole issue of choice and quote unquote, post-traumatic slave syndrome, I'm saying that in the 1920s or the 18th century or whatever, I believe that many of our ancestors thought that we don't have a choice. We don't have much of a choice. What we need to do is look at the necessity of creating something that's.
You sound like you could have been a European.
I believe that, as years went by, once all of that was, as you rightly said, it was destroyed. Many of our people then thought, well, hold on, we got another choice being put to us now, which is integration.
This is not choice.
Many of us actually went for that.
That's not choice. What the fuck is that choice? Where did you get choice from in that?
Because
you destroy somebody's thing, and now they only have this choice. That's not choice.
The option was you can either go through all that hardship again of trying to create your own, or just fit in.
Right.
And many of us said, well, what we will do, we'll fit in.
Right.
And that was a detriment to themselves. That was a choice. Because we could have said, no, it's okay. We will just carry on doing what we want to do by ourselves. We will try and do another Black Wall Street. But this time we'll be more careful because next time we'll make sure we got our guns and we got our ammunition and we're ready for anybody who comes and tries to do something like that.
They had guns and they had ammunition then. What I'm saying to you is that, that's just assuming nobody tried again. What I am saying to you, that's not what choice is.
That's just one example anyway. Black Wall Street is just one.
Right. No, whatever. It doesn't matter whether. I just gave you the biggest one, a man running a country, what they would do. Like I'm saying, they have a.
But it's not the same.
The system has a mark. Nothing's the same if you compare it, then you can always say it's not the same. I'm giving you a comparative. If somebody can run a country and they get murdered,
you can't compare Rosewood to Libya. How can you compare the two?
Why not? Why can't you? I don't know why you
can't. Because Libya is a sovereign state. It's a country within its own right.
And nobody died then. So you can't. So can you compare death with death? It's just they're just comparisons, isn't it? It's nothing for you to go.
That's not a fair comparison.
No.
Yes, if somebody dies because of old age, then yes, that both people died of old age. But if you're going to then say we can compare Rosewood or Black Wall Street to Libya, a sovereign state which had its own borders, which has everything to itself. You can't make that as a comparison.
All you're doing is adding more legalese, yeah? The two of them got attacked and the two of them got...
I'm just being rational and logical.
No, that's not logical. That's legal. Obviously, the comparison is clear.
I'm not being legal. I'm not a solicitor, so I'm not being legal.
Well, that's what you've done. Well, that's what you've done, because other than that, the comparison is clear. They both were attacked, and people died on both of them because of their need to want to start businesses. Those are the things they have in common.
No, it's not just starting businesses. It's communities.
Whatever.
Communities are made of more than businesses.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, he wanted to run his own. He wanted to start his own. He wanted to start his own legal tender. All of it is to do with having something separate.
The country.
I'm not going to argue that because that's just going to take away from the point. All it is that people are trying to set up something separate to the state that wants to destroy them. And America went clear to Libya to do it. And what do you think they're going to do in there? What do you think they would do in their own backyard? They've already bombed black people in America. You know what I'm saying? They've already attacked black. They don't ramp when it comes to that. So that's the point I'm trying to make. If that wasn't good enough, yeah? So as I'm saying, like, if you want to believe that you can do that in such ease, I think that one will require a much more complex a mindset as a leader to sort that out. This simplistic idea that all you need to do is start a community, as if I haven't been doing this for nearly 20 years and people have said this for over 20 years and it still can't happen, because it's more than just an idea at work. There's other ideas warring against your better interest. So therefore, you are up against something. If you don't know what it is. You think that
every community started with an idea, didn't it?
Every idea starts with an idea. So what's that got to do with anything?
What? Say that again.
Every idea starts with an idea. What you saying?
Any idea starts with an idea.
Yeah.
Any idea that, well, you're probably going to have to explain that to us all, because, like, any idea starts with an idea.
Is that deep?
Right, okay, and so therefore, ultimately, when it comes down to the idea of trying to establish a community or building some kind of a community for your own kind, it started with an idea, and that idea probably came into one person's mind, and that one person then said, right, let me try and influence other people to let them see, well, look, there's some value in it. So if that kind of process happens, then of course ultimately they're going to be getting more people in who will be saying, well, look, I can add this, I can bring my ideas about all these different things, etc., etc. And it starts from an idea, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. You must think you're saying something. Yeah, but bruv, I was saying, we was having this conversation 20 years ago. This is nothing new what you're saying. I'm saying to you that if it was so simple, I'm trying to move away from the simplicity of it.
I never said it was simple. Did you hear me say that?
I didn't say. It doesn't matter what I heard you say, right? You said it without.
You're saying if I said it was, if it was as simple as that, or if I said it was as simple as that, I never said that.
You said it with simplicity. You don't have to say it. All you got to do. Wait, yeah, because you don't have to say it though, sir. That's what you don't realize. You can't use that.
You can't just read into what you think I'm saying. You're supposed to ask me what am I saying.
Of course I can, because you didn't. You've said your finished sentence and you didn't add this to it. So that means your idea or your thought pattern is not that complete.
You need to ask. With all due respect, you need to ask.
I don't need to. Why would I need to ask you that?
Because you're not a mind reader, are you?
No, I've just made an assessment on what you said. Yeah?
You're not a mind reader.
I've made an assessment on what you said. I don't need to ask you anything. If you're not clever enough to put across a story wholesome enough, then obviously I'm gonna find that's what an argument is. You know what I'm saying? We're not
discussion, sir. We're not arguing.
It's the same difference, bro. Stop. Bro, I've been having these conversations for 20 years. An argument and discussion is basically the same bloody thing. So I don't understand what you're saying.
Not necessarily. We can agree to disagree on that.
Well, there we go.
Anyway,
there we go. So I'm saying, you are saying a lot of stuff and you're missing stuff out, and then you're blaming me for you didn't say that. That's long. I've been doing this for so long. You all do it. You're a particular type. You're a particular type of argument. You say stuff and you believe you've got what you said down to a T. You miss a whole bunch of stuff out, and then when somebody says, "So what about this? What about it?" You go, "I never said that. I never said that." Of course, you never said it.
But if I didn't say it, then I didn't say it.
You know what I'm saying? Of course, you never said it. But that's how it is. That's the silliness of your argument. It's like I never said that. Like I never said that you was green with yellow eyes. You know what I'm saying? I didn't say that, but I could think that. You know what I'm saying? That's silly. When you start talking about what people did and didn't say, either if you're gonna tell me that you went down the road and you found £10, and then, but what I know the fact is that somebody else pointed you down the road, and I mentioned that, but you go, well, I never said that. Of course, you never said it. but there's a factor that you're missing. That's what I'm trying to point out.
Right. Okay. Well, look, I think, as I say, perhaps we just don't agree on this. But that's not a problem, because I know people are not always going to agree on everything. Ultimately, what I'm saying then is that, like, I believe it is possible for
Anything
us to be able to recreate our own create our own communities, create areas which we
it's possible
have
that we'll take over England
total control of. I believe it is possible. If you don't believe it's possible, then hey, it's all right. It's a free country. We're never all.
And it's definitely not a free country. And we can believe what we want. Like I'm saying, the justification for what you believe is what we was arguing with the religious guy. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing in your justification that believe that's possible. You know what I'm saying? Given what the history is. Now, if you're saying that some Messiah might come and do it, fair enough. But in terms of in terms of what is at play at the moment, either you're missing out what I've added that you said you didn't say, or you're just on your own trip, which is fine. That you're fine. You're free to think whatever you want to think. That's your head. Do whatever you want in there. You know what I'm saying? But as far as I'm concerned, I don't get with none of that what you just said. You know what I mean? It's possible for us to take over England. It's possible for us to start new record companies. It's possible for us to do a lot of things if you just say it. The problem is how do you do it? Given that we've been saying what you're saying for over 35 years.
That's where the organisation starts. You start with an idea, and then you start working with people.
We're going around in a circle now, yeah? Because we've done this already, yeah? I've done this loads of times, and what you're saying is just a circular talk that's been spoken for about 30 years.
Yeah, in actual fact, what can be done? Like I say, I mean, you said, like, how is it going to be done?
It's just talk, it's just talk. It can't be done unless it's been doing.
So how it can be done is, first things first, is that we all need to, or a significant number of us, or enough of us, need to recognise that it needs to be done. Recognise the necessity of doing it.
Okay.
All right, because if we don't recognise the necessity of doing it, then we're more than likely not going to do anything.
We who?
A collective of people who see the value in trying to establish something for ourselves.
Black people, white people, mixture of black and white. Which people?
It's obviously going to be a group of people. It's going to be a group of people who see the value.
Black or white?
In establishing something for. It's whoever that group of people is.
Oh, so it could be black or white then? That's what you're saying. Didn't you say? You didn't say that.
It could be.
Okay,
it may be. Perhaps. Who knows? Who knows what it's going to be?
Okay.
All right.
So that interjection was all right, because you was able to accept that interjection in terms of what you didn't say, because you didn't say that. You're joking.
Sorry.
I've ended the call. Yeah. Thank you for your call anyway. Some little free argument. You see, there's a lot of these little Caucasian free argument brothers. That's what they want to do. They want to go around with their free argument and then make the rules within their argument as they feel like. You know what I'm saying? Not just stick to what they need to stick to. If you got a belief, you got a belief. You make your point and you make it clear. You know what I'm saying? He sounds cold and rational like a white guy. He doesn't sound like somebody that's got a little rhythm. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how that makes me sound, how that makes you soon. That's how they sound. You know what I'm saying? Cold and calculated, and just have a belief with no passion. There's no passion in as far as I understand or I feel. And it's down to what I feel. He might not like the way I sound. You know what I'm saying? For whatever reason. You know, I might sound too ghetto or I was shouting and distorting too much or whatever. That's how life is. But the bottom line is he's just going around in circles. You know what I'm saying? The bottom line is, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, because that's the difference of the argument, that's the difference of the opinion, yeah, there's got to be, as I was saying with Fiona, there's got to be other ways, because you're trying to follow this little simplistic way that this guy's trying to outline. They've been saying it for as far as I'm concerned, and anybody that's been listening to me or listening to these types of show will tell you they've been talking this guff for the last 30 years. It's not for the last maybe 60. Marcus Garvey talked about this stuff. What's this guy coming with? This is not new. This is over 100 years old, what he's saying. So he thinks he's picked up a whole new idea, because this is all we need to do. And I'm saying that, are you looking at what's happening to us as a people? Do you know what they're doing? Can you see the war? You think it's, that's how, our business is run like this. As if you and white people are on the same side, as if you're the same people. They don't play on we just talked about the justice system. It's not a fair system. None of their systems are fair. So all you need to do is Is it? I think that idea is stale and rinsed. Nothing like that is going to work. You know what I'm saying? The idea has to be fresh and hasn't been thought about before. Just like when people used to go on the bus and then somebody decided, you know what? Did you think Rosa Parks was the first person to sit at the front without getting her head bust? She was just the first person privileged enough to be able to stay at the front because of her connections to her slave master. You know what I'm saying? Or the people she worked for. You understand what I'm saying? You think people ain't doing shit? You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, you've come up with a brand new idea that we're able to do that. I'm saying no. That's my view, and that's it. Oh, it's a pity, like, as if somehow then I can be chastised for that. It's like, you disagree, and you move it the fuck along. And then saying you never said this, and I said that, and you never said this, and you know what I'm saying? And that's not what came out of your mouth. That's rubbish. If you're not having a conversation and the person hasn't added the details that is missed out and said, I didn't say that, and then I didn't finish and then finished and still didn't say what I said. It's like, this is long. This is going around nowhere. You know what I'm saying? It's just argument, and it's not a discussion. It's an argument. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm disagreeing with you. You know what I'm saying? An argument, you know what I'm saying? It's not a fight. An argument is two people discussing and agreeing or disagreeing. That's an argument. You know, look the fucking thing up. Then maybe instead of having your own perception of what an argument is, you'll understand what the dictionary, which is the English language that we're speaking, perception is. And that's the best way to go about it. Because your version of what argument is and mine's is based upon your version and mine's. Let's look at what the collective version is so that we can get on the same fucking page. How about that? That will work. Zero 07931276232. Them black Caucasians, man. They're Caucasians. Fuck you on about. Don't trust them. They think them and us is one. That's the reason why we got. That's the reason why we got all them police, yeah. In the system, you know, they all join going, yeah, I'm gonna change it, yeah, it's just, yeah, and this is how it runs, and then they turn around and hate in the blacks and then saying the blacks, the ghettos they hate, the judges are the same, you know, I mean, all these people with all these grand ideas about how the ghetto's gonna work, and all we need to do is just, you know, as if it's that simple. You know what I'm saying? All we need to do, and I can come up with that, all we need to do is just hold hands and sing, you know, Kumbaya fucking Ya, and we'll all be living happily ever after. You know, anybody can come up with a suggestion that sounds feasible, like, you know, what we should do is, like, we should all, you know, if we all, you know, sort of went to the same, you know, meeting places and we had more, there's so many things that people come up with, it's all bollocks. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're in a position as a human being, you know what I'm saying, to engender that. Like, Farrakhan can say, oh, let's meet at this place for this meeting or whatever. You know, they, you know, and they'll go, okay, and all the Muslims will turn up, yeah? Because he has that kind of, and he can talk to Muslims, he won't be talking to me. You know what I'm saying? Because he can do that. But for somebody else like me to say, yeah, we should all meet at this, how many people do you think is going to turn up? You think the same amount of numbers that would turn up to Farrakhan? Of course not. So these people can sit down and come up with all these ideas, you know, on their high horse, like they know some shit. They don't know shit. You know what I'm saying? They're looking at their ideas. You know what I mean? They're not looking at how it's going to be actuated. That's why there's so many of them. You know what I mean? I've been doing this for years. You know what I'm saying? Years. And people have come out with untold ideas that it's just in your head. First of all, it's got to be an idea. Second of all, you got to be able to execute it. You know what I mean? I'm mentioning this people. Oh, you can't mention that because it's you know, you argue stupidness because it's a country. I can't mention it. What's that got to do with anything? It's not university fucking challenge. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm making a point. You know what I'm saying? Between how you can get shut down, and with you know, Gaddafi with a greater amount of power, and you with your little community power. You know what I'm saying? You can't make that reference. If you can't understand what I'm saying, then I don't know my business. I thought your business. White nigga, black nigga, still nigga. Hello? Genesis is speaking.
Hey, X.
Oh, yeah.
It's Fiona again.
Oh,
Fiona again. I'm just going to make it quick because I'm driving at the moment.
All right.
Yeah, you know, I keep hearing this argument about us building communities and having our businesses, having our own Wall Street. Now, I feel like one of the reasons why we were able to build up the Wall Street in what's it called again? Oh, what's the place called again? The Black Wall Street. Where was that again?
Was it? I can't remember. Can't remember.
Yeah, but you know where.
Is it either Ohio or Chicago? One of them.
Tulsa.
Okay, cool. There you go.
Yeah. Right. Now, one of the reasons why I feel like that was successful for the period of time it was until it was bombed is because that was a time during segregation when we didn't have a choice. We couldn't access other markets. We could only build our own market because we weren't allowed to engage with the European market. Yeah. So we built that up out of necessity. Now,
sorry to cut you quickly. That's the word I'm saying.
Yes.
There's a difference between choice and necessity. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was trying to say. You know what I mean? It wasn't based on choice. It was based on necessity. That's a forced thing. It wasn't by, okay, I'll choose. You know what I mean? No, you had no choice. Yeah, go on. Yeah, no.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you there. So now, us trying to do the exact same thing over here is that we're not forced to only engage with the African or the black market. We have choice. We're able to go here, there, and everywhere. We can shop in Asda, we can shop in Tesco, whatever. Now, on top of that, you've now got to be able to try and compete with all of these, what do they call them? Corporate conglomerates, because they're no longer your high street business.
The evolved plantation owners.
Do you know what I'm saying? We're starting off on a local high street business tip. These guys are on an international conglomerate level, so they can keep their prices low. And then on top of that, you're going to be competing with the Indian man and the Arab man who has a monopoly over certain parts of the market anyway. So he keeps his wholesale prices nice and low, and he is not going to sell the same things to you at that low wholesale price. So we've got a problem with competition as well. Then on top of that, the Indian man has his own nation to back him. He's got India to give him loans and this, that, and the other. Yeah, we don't actually have that because I don't see Africa stepping forward. None of them leaders out there are stepping forward and saying, you know what, we wanna branch out and we wanna link up with the black diasporans outside of Africa. None of them are saying that.
Not one.
So and the Arab man, same thing again. He's got his links with the Arab land, which is fairly developed in comparison to what we've got.
But what I'm saying to you is that there's a war against black people developing. That's the point I'm trying to make. It's not as simple. Even if you try, this is what they're going to do. When Brixton was empty, the amount of black people that tried to open business couldn't, every time the prices were too high, but yet these people who just come to the country were able to open business. You just come. Where do you get the money from? You know what I'm saying? This is what they war against you. So I'm saying it's not what you think it is. You know, if you think on a Commonwealth level, on a business level like a white man, then you think that everything is the same. It's not equal. They will shut you down on purpose. Do you know how long some of those buildings were empty for in Brixton? And do you know how many black people applied? I know of a few myself. Why were they able to afford it and we wasn't? And we had lived there all our entire lives. And yet, by the time Brixton was repopulated, there was hardly any black businesses there. So black people don't have no sense. No black person from no part of the world wanted to open a business in black because they were stupid.
We're talking like no one's ever tried this before. Listen, we're the most hard-working set of people. Don't let anyone tell you anything different. We're the hardest working people. And I know a lot of our foreparents, when they came over here, they did start up businesses. As you said, they did own their own properties. They were actually doing better than what we're doing right now.
Now, you tell me what happened to all those properties in Peckham, Brixton, Wandsworth. They bought them out at what they call compulsory purchases orders. You understand what I'm saying? They shut down entire communities, you know what I'm saying, and put you in flats. That's what they did. So this guy's acting like, this caller before, is acting like he's going to now start it because this is all we need to do. As if we've been here, we're the first communities here. So these new ones that are coming here, they're not faced the same racism because we're a conquered people. We're a people they need to suppress in order for them to exist. They don't need to suppress the Eastern European. You know what I'm saying? They don't need to suppress any of the other people. They need to suppress the African and the black man because he's the one that would destabilize their economy. That's why they wouldn't let Gaddafi do what he's doing. Sorry.
Yeah, well, exactly. The point you made about Gaddafi was a good one because, you see, the last caller was saying, oh, well, you can't compare because Gaddafi was trying to control his own sovereign country. Well, I would have thought that would have given him even more power.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because we're talking about building a society within a society or a community within the UK, okay? I would have thought it would be easier to build a community in your own sovereign land. So I wasn't really sure of the point that he was making. It didn't make sense to me.
Right. Same.
You hear what I'm saying?
It didn't make sense to me either. That's what I'm saying. They just repeat these type of challenger. They just repeat themselves and say it's a sovereign. They repeat stuff, and I don't know what they're trying to say. It's like they want to throw you off the mark, and they repeat something that doesn't actually make sense. Like it's a sovereign country. What's that got to do with? I don't understand. So like you're almost confused, and so the argument gets lost. And I'm refusing to do that now. I'm saying, no, you're not going to use them little free arguments to get out of it. The fact is, I'm making a comparison. If you don't understand the comparison, let it go and move on. But it's a sovereign country. It's completely different. Yeah, of course it's different. But I'm making comparisons. That's what a comparison is. I'm comparing.
Someone was in their own sovereign land, okay? Not building a community within someone else's land,
community,
but
exactly.
within their own land.
All right.
And outside Western forces were still able to come in
and kill him.
And bugger them. Kill him, they buggered him as well. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They killed him in the most, just
violent.
They just took the piss.
Yeah,
but,
right.
You know, so that just goes to show you the levels that and we know this already. Just look at history. We know the levels that they go to. I'm not saying, oh, well, then that means that we just don't try. But I'm just saying, this whole thing about us building a community, like you said, it's nothing new. It's nothing new. We have been building communities. Every time they come and gentrify the areas where we are a community.
Okay. You see what I'm saying?
You know, they just push us out here and there. And
Harlem, they did it to Harlem. They did, and then he goes, well, everybody knows that business is aggressive, and you got, brother, they created this thing. They changed the rules as they go along. The justice system, the business system, capitalism was created by the European, and they change it to suit the options that keep them on top. So I'm not saying that nobody shouldn't try. I'm saying, don't come. I am not the Lord of all. Whatever the leader's going to come with, it's going to be initiative that's going to go raw. I didn't even, because are you thinking everything has been thought of? There's something that needs to be thought about. We are not gifted to come up with it, but saying these little silly things about business and you want to be a businessman and this is how business run, when it was created by the people on the backs of the death and the torture and the rape and the abuse of your parents, you want to follow that system. And then what we just talked about earlier on, so this guy probably didn't hear all that. And these guys are the Caucasian blacks I'm talking about. They believe in the Caucasian system, which is built to destroy black people. It's built to hold back black people. So why would you follow a system and that means that he hasn't understood that. You want to follow a system and use the rules that the system continually controls you from. Who did Gaddafi do that? Did Castro do that? Anybody that wins against the system can't follow the system's rules. Only a madman thinks he can do that. There's nobody that's won anything against Europe that has ever followed the European rules. Are you stupid?
X, right? X, yeah? Remember, Malcolm X became an even greater danger the minute he started talking about capitalism. That's when they took him out, yeah? You had men like Nkrumah, you know, men like Stokely Carmichael, yeah? Now known as Kwame Nkrumah, right? They are, we know what happened to Nkrumah. They took him out as well because he was trying to fight against them capitalist forces at the end of the day, right? Now, it's coming like people don't understand that capitalism was built off the backs
of slavery, and of course,
it was built from slavery. That means, and that's why to this day they still require the blacks to be the underbelly, the underclass of their society.
That's right, absolutely.
No matter where we are in the globe, they want us as the underclass of their society to continue exploiting our labour and our energy.
Absolutely.
And I don't really understand why people don't get this because it's so simple.
Absolutely, so
spot on. Fighting ourselves on this issue.
It's so spot on. Yeah, that's where it lands. That's where it starts, and that's where it stops. Now, if you come up with, I'm not saying, they said defeatist and all that. It's real. Like, if I'm in a jail, you know what I'm saying, and I've got a date in 10 months' time. If I try, I might be able to get through one of the doors, and it depends how, So there's stuff that stops you. It's not being defeated. You have to know what your limits are. And I'm saying that at this moment, there's not enough smart people in our community. This hard-edged, educated mindset that seems to have no give sounds like a white guy to me. It doesn't sound like somebody that's in. It sounds like somebody that's more like a white, to me, with respect. Sounds like a white guy. Like somebody who thinks he knows it all. The arrogance of a white man. Because white people, once they reach a certain level, they're very, very arrogant. So his arrogance to me was showing like, oh yeah, well, all we need to do is like, okay, but I'm laughing, trying to brevity, and you're still trying to be like, well, you know, like, what? Who are you, bruv? I mean, there's nothing special, bruv.
It's like there's a rhetoric, as we keep saying, that's out there, yeah. And then what happens is, we just simply turn into echo chambers. We start echoing that same rhetoric without really questioning things. I think that's what's going on. And then we end up taking on a kind of like, it's a false consciousness, because it's not a consciousness that works for us. Because what I'm saying is, like what you just said, I'm not disagreeing that one or two of us can't make it. Of course, there'll always be a one or two of us that make it. I mean, we've got millionaires, we've got barristers, we've got police officers in the force, but it doesn't change this systemic problem. It doesn't change the system.
Absolutely. That's what we're talking about.
And then what happens is they go over to that side, and they don't put anything back in the community. They lose that community consciousness.
That's what I'm saying.
As you said, they become, what is it, Caucasian
blacks. That's what I'm saying. Right? They can't help us. And everybody seems to think the ghetto must be here. Why does it have to be here? I'm saying I never hear these guys rise out of ghetto and say, I'm going to change the ghetto. Everybody just wants to leave everybody back in there, leave all the crabs, all that. You was there as well. Who wants to be here? There's nobody who wants it. People are doing 4 or 5 jobs in these so-called ghettos, trying to keep their family up, trying to get their family across the road from the drug that they force into our communities. This is war on black people. It's not as simple as, all you got to do is play by the rules and you'll get through. Are you mad?
That's it.
What you been thinking?
Because the playing field, as you said, was never level.
Never.
This system always plays offside. It's not fair. If it was fair, then sure, you could rely on the merit of your own, your own
momentum, your own.
Your own effort. I got there eventually. Your own effort. You know what I'm saying? You would be able to fairly compete with the benefits of your own effort. But this system doesn't allow you to do that. As I said, we are the hardest working people. But how many hundreds of years they got free labour from our people?
Hundreds of years. And the murder and the rape and the torture and the inhumanity of these people and the mercilessness. They're merciless people. They look you bang in the... That's why I played that tune. They're cold, bruv. And so now youths and now I'm talking about, that's cold. They know this is the environment they're in. They're cold-blooded people. They will see a youth and choke him to death and watch him die and then, look at him and pretend that they didn't do anything. This is the enforcers of this country, and then the country over there, they hate us. So when you start looking at the way they treat us by their government, you're saying somehow all you got to do is play fair, and a government that doesn't play fair, and somehow that's all we need to do. That's like I said, 10, 15 years ago, people were saying this, and 10, 15 years and nobody can't do it. Why? Because when you try, like I said, with Brixton, when they tried, they and you see on the documentaries, the woman went for the Indian man who was at least they went to hire a flat. You know what I'm saying? Went to rent, a flat. He said no to the fucking black woman. You know what I'm saying? The white man comes along, and did you see that documentary? And he said yes.
Yeah, do you know what?
That's what we're up against.
Me. That was about the estate agents.
That's right. Remember? Do you remember that one? Right.
I remember.
That's what we're up against. So this guy can come along and think it's just business and it's warfare. You don't even know what's going on. Like they all of them are stacking against us. So we are trying. So to just build a community out of like your thought pattern, is that how it's going to go? Show me what you're going to talk about. Show me what you've already considered. No, you're just going to say, all we need to do is build this like you're some idiot. That's what they all do. They've been doing that for the past, in my time on radio, the past 15 years. What we need to do, if we all put our money into this building, that flopped. If we all do this, and what we need to do, that's all you ever hear. Because they don't have a true understanding of what they're up against. You have to know what you're up against to be able to defeat it. So when you know what you're up against, and you say to me, you know what, you wouldn't be saying to me, because you'd be so influential by the time you got that plan that, you know, you'd be talking to other people. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, we need to get back. We need to find a way to make them, if they commit this type of thing, that we can get them for a felony, you know, that, or the crime. You know what I mean? Something that you can say, oh, that's a great. You got that kind of lot. Let's see how it then. Now let's see how it works. I'll be there. But it's like all we need to do is just get them interested. What?
It's true, you know. There's no show and prove, and it is this. It's an old thing, because we've been talking about this for decades and decades about building business. We do have businesses, right? One of the main complaints that I hear from a lot of black businesses is that, oh, I set up a business, and you know what? My own people didn't come into the shop. They were complaining that my prices were higher than the Indian man down the road. But again, you see, that has a lot to do with our economic situation, because if you've got a lot of, shall we say, poor people in the community, they're going to vote with their pocket. They're going to go where their money can give them the most.
That makes sense.
That makes
sense.
How it is.
Yeah, that just makes sense.
Exactly, it does make sense. That's just the way it is. Yeah. Because they don't have disposable income like that.
No, that's right. So it's really just, I mean, you can't blame them. It's just that simple. And that's what I'm saying. This is how they organise their governments, and they organise their systems so that the poor. Remember, they haven't just done this to blacks. They did the same thing to the whites back in the days, in the Victorian days, and the Elizabethan days. They've always been doing it.
They used to put their own babies up chimneys. Come on now.
Yeah, of course, that's what I'm trying to say. So it's not
down into the coal mine.
Right. So I'm saying that the mercilessness is inbuilt into them. It's not something that I'm suggesting. It's something that historically that they do and they execute. So I'm saying, so what makes you think they're going to be somehow, oh yes, just build your business. Oh, look how the Greek community just come here. The Greek community come here. When they came here, or whoever, was there no Europeans on the fucking doors? Was there no dogs and no Europeans on the doors when they came here? Was they allowed not to go in certain shops and not to drink at certain places? Because did that happen to the Europeans? Oh, I just wondered. So we are never the same. So his comparative is obviously better than mine with Gaddafi and community. You know what I'm saying? There's no comparison to them coming here and us coming here. They didn't build a community. They came here as a community. They all believe in one religion. We came here believing in all different sort of things. Church of God, Church of England, Baptist. We came here like that. They came here. They're all Muslim. They all speak the same language. It's a whole different case of events. And they've come here once we've built up the country. When we came here, we had to build up the country. You know what I mean? They come here so that people can have cheap labour. We came here so that we can help them build their country. It's a completely different thing.
Our great-grandparents came here and they built up the infrastructure.
That's a complete, you know what I'm saying?
Built up the infrastructure, you know?
It's another, you know what I'm saying? So if we're going to talk about comparative, then, let's keep it real then. We don't compare. And again, they wasn't enslaved for 500 years. They hadn't tortured and raped their mothers and their sisters and their brothers, you know what I'm saying, and whipped them to that. They hadn't changed the fabric of their society so that black people now inflict upon each other the wounds that white people started to inflict on us. The rioting, the first rioters were white. They were the ones who showed us how to riot. The first gangbangers were white. The first drive-by shootings were white. You know, the first pimps and prostitutes of America were white. Everything you see us doing is Caucasian. So if you're going to then say to me that, oh, I'm chatting shit and then show me that where we started all of that stuff. Because there's none of our history that says that we was into all of that stuff.
You're right. We weren't the ones that started that. Looking at America, you had Polish people that were involved in that. You had the Jewish community that was involved in that. You had the Italians that were involved in that. You had all kind of European people involved in gangs and drug dealing and all that kind of stuff. Right. But somehow they try and make it seem like it's our thing.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So this is what I'm trying to say to you. It's a war. It's not simple as we're just normal and it's a war against us. They're trying to suppress us. I go a bit deeper than that, but you know what I'm saying? That's what I see.
I know what you're saying. One thing that you said that it just reminded me of something. I remember I heard rumours. I don't know how true it is, but it could well be true. I heard that when the Asians first came here, they were actually given a certain portion of the drug market, with heroin, opium, when they first came over here. Yeah, so I heard when they first came over here, the Europeans gave them a certain portion of the heroin market. And that is how a lot of them in the 50s and the 60s were able to actually build up and own shop.
Listen, we got people coming from all over the world, right, to England, coming to 5-bedroom houses, coming to 3-bedroom houses. We lived in 1 rooms. You know what I'm saying? Everything, the whole climate has changed. They're coming from nowhere into a 5-bedroom house. You know what I'm saying? Our black parents had to build themselves up from 1 rooms. Nobody came to no 5-bedroom house. None.
For real.
You know what I'm saying? These people come here straight from off a boat into a 4 or 5. So to the white people were grudging them. Coming into flats that white people waiting for ages. People just walking into. We lived in 1 room. We shared bathrooms and bathed in sink. You know what I mean? And went to outside toilet. How can we be on the same trip as them? You know what I'm saying? The point I'm making is that the war against us as a people is being joined by our own people. Like I said, the Caucasian blacks. They are not doing. They're not in the war. So that means the numbers are building up on the other side. So it's like you got a war, right? They're suppressing blacks, keeping blacks down. You've got a whole bunch of people that they're feeding like money, like Young Thug and all these people that chat shit. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about, but they're able to. Rappers. Right. So what goes away now is the likes of the further development of the greater singers, the greater groups, all of that is disappearing. And what's moving forward under the guise of Caucasian control is a bunch of negative, disrespectful fuckery. That's what they're selling as for the young people to go, yeah, that's a bad tune, bruv. Yeah, you don't know. That's what they're selling. So you're telling me that somehow we're in a better position now to start businesses. So the guys who own the labels are being paid by the people who own the companies. So when you say, oh, my boy, you know, whether it be Birdman or these guys, they're all being paid by white people. You understand? Excess amount of money they're getting paid because what if they were selling Public Enemy type tunes, you think they'll be having those deals? You think they'll be getting that type of money so they could buy places of schools? And these guys just want to buy £1,000 Versace shoes. They don't want to buy. They're not interested in nothing in terms of development of their people, and that's fine with that hierarchy. Yep, as long as you want to buy bollocks and you want to buy shit and tell people about rape and smoking drugs, then we're fine with you. Don't you see what we're up against?
This is the whole thing. This is the whole thing.
And that's the only medium we have. The only medium that we had for years was our ability to communicate through music, and now look what they've done to it.
And even that, they've spoiled that, they've infiltrated it and they've mashed that down. You know, you've got to search hard. You've got to search hard on the so-called underground just to find a few pearls of wisdom, you know, because everything that's out there and readily available is shit. I'm not even going to lie. And, you know, it's like even the black banks. We would think, oh, well, you know, a black bank would give us so much power. It's our own bank, yay. But no, even that bank has to operate within the same European structure. Law. Exactly. Right. How's it still has to...
You understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? Understand what I'm saying to you, Fiona?
I do.
It's Caucasian. That's what a Caucasian black is. He thinks to operate as a European and a Caucasian gives him a win. Yet everything he does creates more poverty on the side of his brothers. You know what I'm saying? So how are you operating like a Caucasian, buying a Caucasian bank, operating a Caucasian way, buying a Caucasian restaurant, operating a Caucasian way, buying a Caucasian supermarket, operating a Caucasian way, you know, buying a Caucasian record car? How are you doing that and expecting we're helping? And all you're posing is money. There's no moral, there's no ethic, there's nothing that you can push forward except how much money you're worth. You tramp. Sorry, does that sound right? You're a millionaire tramp.
You know something? The fact that we're even trying to use the same currency, which at this moment in time and for a very long time hasn't even had anything of worth to back it up with, which is why it says, I promise to pay the bearer, because it's fiat currency, there's nothing behind it.
You see, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying to you.
We don't even have an understanding. That's the number one problem. We don't have enough of an understanding of this thing called capitalism, and I wish we did.
That's why they don't teach it in schools, they only teach it in private schools.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? It's that whole warfare. You think you're at peace when you're actually at war. They're suppressing the original human beings. They've murdered them off and they're integrating you. So like I said to you, the Spanish, when you see the Spanish people, they're a mixed race people. They're half black and half white. You know what I'm saying? All the light-skinned, long-haired, so-called pretty Italian Latinos that you're seeing, they're a mixture of the original brown-skinned man and the conquering Aryan and Caucasian, yeah? That's who they are. And that's why they won't mix in. because they need to mix amongst each other. That's why you see some of them are more whiter than others and very few are dark skinned. You know what I'm saying? Because they're wiping that group out. So you'll feel maybe, and one black skinned man will start, out of 100 sort of mixed race Spanish. Then the same thing with the Chinese. The Chinese are all Caucasian. The Japanese are all Caucasian. The Indians are fighting down all their dark-skinned people. The top line of Egyptians are all Caucasian. All the top Arabs are all Caucasian. In every situation, the black Chinese live in the mountains. The black Pakistanis are living somewhere in the back of life. The black Chinese, the black Japanese, they're in some other part of the country that nobody sees. So what's happening? Why are black human beings not human beings?
Right. Basically, right across the globe, this same caste system has been put in place. Because wherever you find the black human being, he's always being suppressed. I see that.
Yeah, right. So that's why I'm saying he's the original human being. And anything else after that is a version of humanity. That's why they're so cruel. The Japanese are cruel. All the Caucasian Japanese are cruel. All the Caucasian Chinese are cruel. All the Caucasian, they're all cruel people. All the Mongol, all these mix of people, they're a cruel race. A cruel and vindictive and aggressive race of people. And a merciless race of people. So I don't understand how you think you're winning this. But if you have the simplistic view that what we need to do is hold hands together and start a business, and what we could need to do, and then if you have that view of this thing, I don't even want to, it's not even point having a conversation. There's no point.
Yeah. No, I can see the ridiculous. I can see that it's not working. I don't mean to sound like I'm being negative, because it's not that I'm being negative, it's just that I'm being realistic. I'm looking at the way that world history has played out. I'm looking at what has happened in the past 20, 30 years. I'm looking at what's happening around me today. And I can clearly see that using this same economic system, it can't work for us, simply because we are the people that it needs to exploit in order to operate in the first place. So
exactly.
How are you going to do something?
That's what I'm Fiona, you know what I'm saying? If you was there, I'd kiss. If you was there, I'd kiss you. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's so automatic. That's why my boy said what's his name? Kendrick Lamar said. He says it's in my DNA, socialist DNA. That's what he says. Yeah. Because in order for we are human beings are social people. This capitalism, this dictatorship is not the rule of human beings. It's the rule of another race of beings. As far as Doctah X is concerned. So everybody can say what they want. He's talking about aliens and all that. They can say what they want. Human beings in every walk of life, because the Amazonian human is a human. There's no primitive person on this planet that isn't human. So how did you end up calling them savages like they're less than human when they're the first humans? So when you go to any privileged, any organization of what you'd call quote unquote primitive human being, they're all socialist. The fuck you talking about? So how do you end up with this system then?
Back in the day, and I can give specific examples. In the Congo, they had something called Kinsinze, something like this, right? And it basically means community. Oh man, I'm forgetting the proper words, but it's something along the lines of socialism. That's like the original socialism, where we organise ourselves on a community level. You know what? The original human in Australia, now known as the Aboriginal, right? He didn't believe in the ownership of land. Land was there for communal usage.
And the South American and the North American Indian as well. They just they did there was no it's the Caucasian that came and created all like what Diane Abbott said on her tweet. They've always divided and ruled.
That's it.
Yeah, and that's a woman that works in their system.
Yes, that's it. So the last thing I'm going to say, because otherwise I don't want to hog up the line too much, right? The last thing I want to say is that all these people that are talking about back to Africa and they're so Afrocentric, it's coming like they don't even know how the original African used to actually carry on and organize his community, his life in the original lands. Because if you look at how the African organized themselves, it was always on a community basis. So I don't know why all of a sudden now in the 21st century we're twisting up things and saying that we can use capitalism to organize ourselves.
You understand? You understand? And remember, there was no Africa. You know what I'm saying? It was just human beings on land. This is just a name broken up to give certain sections of the name. You know what I'm saying? That if we were the original human beings, we belong on the planet. We don't belong in Africa. The planet belongs on. Obviously, because some of these places have been affected by different, whatever they've been affected by in terms of what these people have done. You know what I'm saying? We fare better at other places because it's no longer fully solar like what it was. Remember, they have maps of Greenland without ice. They have maps of the certain parts of the earth that are now, uninhabitable, green. Yeah, these are maps have been found.
I understand what you're saying, because look at the Grimaldi man. He was in Europe way, long back.
Right. You see it. So we're talking about the planet being of original, the whole planet being for human beings, not Africa. You understand? This is our planet. It's not our country, or it's not our continent. It's our planet, and that's what they're robbing us from. So that's why the North American Indians disappearing. That's why the black Chinese is gone. That's why the black Japanese is gone. That's why everybody that was originally here are disappearing, and that's why they're making moves to integrate us right now to call light-skinned people the new black. So instead of calling them light-skinned now, you're going to call them he's black, like how you call the Spanish. Because the black Spanish are no longer there. So this mixed race Spanish is the new Spanish. The black Jews are no longer there, and the Semite Jews no longer exist. So the new white Jews are now the Jews. Don't you see what's happening?
I'm laughing, because it gets even worse than that. You've got that woman there, Rachel...
Doherty, or whatever her name is. Doreen. Yeah.
And they believe in this, they can be trans race. They can pick and choose what race they want to be.
Look, this is what we're up against.
Yes. So, we really need to recognise where we're at, man. Seriously.
We need that guy. We need to stop daggering, right? And it won't be in my generation. But the way in which we communicate and make love, we've got to move away from the romantic ideal of my heart flutters and try to start to mate with people that's going to create the likeness of what we want on the earth. You can't sleep with a girl that's your enemy. Ends up, you don't know her from nowhere, or a man that you ain't even on the same trip, or he's on a trick trip to get some pum from you. Like, love sister, and chat shit to you, but his efforts and his life has never been around that area. So even to make that child that you need to make, like how, I keep using the term John Connor because it's the only thing that I can mention because there's no black version of it. Yeah. To bring that child into, you have to have a certain combination. This wild, I'm there with this girl and 12 baby mother, that's not going to create no one. Don't you see over the last 50 years, there's been no new leadership, because by the fact you're integrating and making babies because you have the same religion, that's rubbish. That's not how it works. You have to have the same DNA construct, so that when you create it becomes more of you, the both of you, not half wanting to go to one side of you and the other half running from. That's not how you create a solid you or a solid human being. This mixture that we're doing in the dance hall, I've been saying this for years, is disgusting. It's rubbish. It's ex-slave stuff. It's how you make slaves. Making a girl because she's got a big batty, or then with a guy because his car's big, is how you make more slaves. If you want to make a proper developmental human being, you have to pick your the partnership and the person that you want to have on the basis that the two of you are one. Not I'm behind you and you in front and all this kind of little romantic, this like Caucasian version of holding the woman back. They've only just started to bring her forward, and that's through her own force and efforts. We're talking 100 years. We've got kings and we've got queens and warrior queens and queens for years. So what happened then? So who was a warrior queen sleeping with? Who was all our little queens, Aisha and all these, who were they sleeping with? Because this was before they even had a queen. That's when they only had kings. So you tell me how we had women at the back of us in our creation story.
It's foolishness, because what I've noticed, especially of late, in this whole so-called Pan-African community, there's all this talk of, oh, yes, my empress, oh, you're my queen. But behind all of that nice finessing, all that sweet talk, there's a lot of misogyny behind it.
You see it.
Because, yes.
We can't live. We as a community can't live with that. We can't survive with that.
This is why I'm saying that every arena that we seem to be in, we're being infiltrated.
Absolutely.
And a false rhetoric is being introduced, and we're now echoing it like some damn fools, not
Trust
knowing
me.
where we're at, what direction we're supposed to be going into.
Absolutely.
Because you see it in the music. You even see it in places where we're supposed to be clever and intellectual, in the so-called conscious community, right? You're just seeing it everywhere.
Absolutely. I'd say I'd kiss you again. See, that would be a second kiss. It's like a madness.
Steady. But you know something? The last thing. The last caller mentioned about this whole post-traumatic slave syndrome thing. Yeah. Now, I'm sitting on the fence on this one because I'm not too quick to say that we suffer from this thing. Number one, because no one has given me scientific evidence that our DNA has been affected by slavery. Yeah. Number two, I'm a little bit suspicious because I feel like it's a pseudo psychological problem that a lot of people are going to want to try and make money from, mainly professionals in the psychiatric field, yeah, because they're going to say, oh, you know, you suffer from this syndrome and you need treatment and you need therapy, and that's all about money as far as I'm concerned. So, and another thing, my last point on that is, if we do suffer from post-traumatic slave syndrome, how comes the African youths, the ones that are like first and second generation, have come directly from Africa to over here, are doing the exact same thing as the Caribbean youths in terms of black on black crime? How can that be attributable to this post-slavery syndrome thing? To me, it's looking like it's more of a social thing, but I don't know. I let other people...
No, you can't go there. Let me just add to that before you go. There's two, right? They suffer from post-colonial trauma, yeah? Because their first language is English in Nigeria and Ghana and all that, and they've had some wicked trauma in their thing, yeah. So theirs is colonial. They suffer from post-colonial system, in my opinion, and we suffer from post-slavery. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that it's not. I know what you're saying. They're going to use it, but one of the things of that trauma is when you go to other nations or other races or more established races, they will meet on the levels of their like-kindedness. We meet, this is a trauma. You're going to see a girl and her butty big, and that's what's going to attract you to want to have a baby with her. Nothing else. Just she's got a big batty and other guys like her. That's it. And then when you get with her now and you're trying to work out life, you realise that you hate her or she hates your guts. That's trauma. That means that you haven't even rationalised what you're doing. You're driven by your seed bag. You're driven by your lust. You haven't rationalised that girl's got a big bum, but she can't cook. She can barely speak. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Or that guy's got a wicked car, but he can't read. You know what I'm saying? He's driving illegal. You know what I'm saying? You're not using your rest, so that's what a trauma. To me, this is my view of it. That's what the trauma is. Them lot now, if you notice with the African, the continental Africans, they're very subservient. You know what I'm saying? When it comes, we came here, we created one bag of noise and turn over this and change this. They came here and they're bowing to everything and under everything. And I don't care who it is because I've got African friends. That's the nature of their whole movement. They have never made not a noise in the past. They've been here about 25 years. They haven't made not a jot nor titter. So they're a different type of person. So they're under a different types of slavery. You know what I'm saying? And we could go into what they're doing in their countries, and now there's so much money in their country. Yet there's millions of them all over this planet. Japan, Switzerland. They leave Nigeria in droves. You know what I'm saying? That means that you can't be proud of a country that everyone almost have to leave every day. Somebody's leaving that country to get to earn a standard of living, and your country's got so much money in individual hands. That's what I call a Caucasian syndrome, where the capitalism is so embedded into everyone that people who could build roads, they're sitting down on hundreds of thousands of millions. We're talking at least 1,000. There's one guy that in their rich book, it was like this had 12,000 million. This other guy had 11,000 million. This guy had 100,000. It's like crazy. They got crazy money out there, and they sit on it. They don't intend to build schools or nothing for the country. So the people have to come to England and then bow because they're scared to go back to their country of nothingness where they live. And yes, sir.
X.
No, sir. Right.
X, yeah?
Yes.
Do you know who is the richest black woman on earth right about now?
Some oil. There's a Nigerian woman that owns some oil fields and shit.
She used to be the new richest one. Is the Angolan. The daughter of the Angolan president. I think his surname is Doctah, so her surname would be the same. Can't remember her first name. But if you look it up, she's the richest black woman on this earth. the Angolan president's daughter, yeah? You think she's doing anything for the people in her country?
This is what I'm saying.
And this is what you just said is the crux of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're talking about the concentration of wealth and capital in the hands of a few individuals, but they don't distribute that wealth. They don't share that wealth.
Right. That's not human.
So when we're talking about going back to Africa, and we're going to take back our gold, we're going to take back our diamonds. First of all,
really?
It's not
oh, really?
Exactly.
Is that La La Land again? That's what I'm trying to say.
We don't have any military might right about now, but we're going to fight a geopolitical war and get back our gold and our diamonds. And just theoretically, just if we buy that lullaby and we somehow magically jump to the part where we own everything again, we're going to have to do exactly the same thing that they've been doing, but to our own people, so that we can competitively sell gold, diamonds, and all the rest of it to all the other people. So
it's not going to work.
Is anybody actually thinking, who are these people, these self-appointed people that are speaking on our behalf at the helm of these so-called movements? They don't even sound like they've got a bit of sense in their head back. Who are these people? Why aren't there any intelligent people coming up to the fore and saying, you know what, I'm going to keep it real and show you what it is?
And you see, this is what you see, the Caucasian blacks, they want to listen to Umar Thurman because he ain't going to say nothing except rhetoric like, yes, and Jamaica, it's been around for some years, and Jamaica was first run by Ararat India. You're just going to say, and you're going to go, yeah, it's real.
It's church, it's church. We listen to it for the feel-good factor. It's church. You don't see that they're coming like the latest generation of street preachers. Yeah. They can regurgitate. They can regurgitate, all that African history. At the end of the day, they're not keeping it real. They're not showing us the actual. The whole picture, because I noticed they never talk about capitalism. They never ever talk about it. They just say that we're going to do exactly what the white man is doing, and we're going to be victorious. We're going to replace white supremacy with black supremacy. That's basically what they're saying.
And remember, I said to you, supremacy is not a human ideal. As I said to you, they've done it. They've done it in experiments. They've gone to different parts of the world and tried to force. By saying that it's a human phenomena to be greedy. They tried to force primitive tribes to be greedy, and they didn't know how to. They kept giving them more than one, and they kept sharing. That's the kind of society that the blacks will create. It's a more better society that Gaddafi wanted, and they destroyed him and his country. So I'm saying to you, it's not about negativity; it's about realism. Now, if we face realism, then we can create the real people to defend ourselves against it. But once we live in this la-la land and this fake land of fakeness, you know what I'm saying? All we need to do is hold hands and one day it's going to get all right. You know what I'm saying? That person cannot be created because he has to be created out of the need and the necessity of his people, like Malcolm X was, like Marcus Garvey was. Right now, living in la-la land, talking about what you're going to do and, business is this and that, and all these blacks that I know, even bridges of mine, keep talking about business. I was saying to them, do you realise when you started to talk about business? If you're over 30, you know what I'm saying, you only just start to talk about it. That means that it's around all this time. It's only when a white man said it was feasible, then you decided to talk about entrepreneurialism and business. It means that you're still working with a Caucasian agenda. If it was from Marcus Garvey days he was talking, or words that Marcus Garvey articulated, I would get that. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, this is what they call doom and gloom, because the reality is difficult for them to swallow. And all I'm saying is just real. It's not that it's negative. If it's raining, it's raining. It doesn't mean it's negative. It just means that we need to adjust for the umbrellas because it's raining. That means we need to stop feeding into certain things then, because we realize the reality. There's things that you would do to soften that blow. But if you're not going to realize the reality and you're going to escape the reality and pretend it's not there, then other people are going to have to shoulder that blow. They're going to have to keep getting it because you won't admit to the fact that you're buggered as a people. We're in a football match and you're losing 11-0 and there's 5 minutes to go, you're going to lose. There's no way you're going to win unless some miracle happens and they disqualify the whole entire match, which is 1 in 10 trillion. You know what I'm saying? So you have to know where you're positioned in the game. Are we winning? Are we near the front? We're nowhere near. So just admit that where you are and say, right, this is what we need to do or need to have more of, because no one person can do it. So let's keep it more real then. But there's so many people living off the fakeness. There's so many people making business out of the fakeness that they ain't gonna want it to be real. They want it to be fake. Yeah, and people, we know, black people are the first people, and how many? I've been around since 2000 on this show, yeah, on 1999. You know what I'm saying? And they've been saying that for 17 years. Same thing.
Forever. They've been saying it for forever, and the reason being is because of this capitalist mindset. They're trying to hustle. It's a pimp game at the end of the day. They're making money out of this. And it is like church. The conscious community, whatever you want to call it, is like church. It sells you a dream. It sells you hope. And you buy into it. They always try to sell you something. If they're not selling you workshops, they're selling you a product or they're selling you a service. And they're telling you that that's how you're going to liberate yourself.
Yes, Fiona, you might need to come on the show one day, yeah? How about that?
Yeah, I may just need to do that because the way that I've been chatting for so long,
the male and female.
Anyway, I'm gonna come off the line.
Thingamabob me. Right. I've got Thingamabob me on my Facebook. Yeah, and
I will.
Yeah.
What's the is it just Doctah X the Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's you'll find it under that. Doctah X, the Ghettoologist. Look up that.
I will. Okay, I'm gonna reach out.
And reach out. Yeah, message me.
I will.
Yeah,
all right,
cool.
Take care.
Take care. All right, bye. 07931 276 232. 07931 276 232. That's a phone call. Yeah, but you're a phone call away. You're about, in fact, you've got about 10 minutes if anybody's going to call again. You know what I'm saying? So, as I was saying, so we talked about, the convert, the pervert. What was the other one? I can't remember the other one was, but we're going into that zone. Yeah, we're going into the zone where I'm glad this is a female. I'm so glad it was a female as well. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously you're going to want somebody to fortify your beliefs. Not that this is the only person, but you know what I'm saying. Genesis, this is me, Doctah X. You know what I'm saying? You're on the last few minutes of the talk show. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, peace. I'm just going to go by Mr.
Mr. Well, go on.
I'm good still. I was appreciating the conversation, a couple of points as well, but in particular, there were comments about leadership,
I got that.
and in particular about there being a lot of demagogues and charlatans who are running around wasting or misusing people's time. And I was grateful for the comment you made on Dr. Umar, because the interesting thing for me is there's a couple of scholars who at the moment, not people who just fabricate 30 books and then say they want a big thing. But there's a couple of scholars out there at the moment who aren't getting enough exposure, and in my opinion, they're the only people who are really saying anything. And I doubt anyone on this station's heard them, but I'll give their names out. One of them is Dr. Tommy Curry.
Never heard of him, yeah. Tommy Curry,
okay, yeah? Dr. Tommy Curry. And the second one is Dr. Frank Wilderson.
Never heard of them. I'll look them. Oh, they're on the YouTube, yeah?
Yeah, they're about on YouTube. However, I wanted to in particular, suggest, I can only suggest, I can't demand, but I will suggest that people check out Frank Wilderson on the 10th and on the 9th of this month, because he's in London for this week.
What's his name?
And unlike Frank Wilderson.
Frank Wilderson?
Yeah.
All right. Frank Wilderson.
He's in London on the 9th and the 10th. And I say this because you speak about Garvey and Malcolm. Well, if you follow on from Garvey's legacy, the only person I think concretely picked up from where Garvey was Amos Wilson.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. I 100% agree with that.
Wilson,
yes.
From Amos Wilson, there's been a long gap.
Yes,
in terms
absolutely.
Of that whole lineage and genealogy.
Mister.
People have said a few things here and there, but no one's concretely picked it up.
Yes,
Tommy Curry and Frank Wilderson are picking this up. Tommy Curry has concretely picked up on that, but Frank Wilderson's picked up in a different way. And I think all black people, if they don't want to be saying the same crap for the next 40 to 50 years. I mean, Wilderson's been on the scene for like 5 years. He's made more of an impact than anyone who's been chatting all of this, glorify Africa, the motherland, without looking at the dynamics of the concrete realities of our situation. So I can't reiterate this enough. But if you're serious, because I've sent messages around to loads of people, because I'm told they perceive as safety, they don't really like to listen to me. But if you're serious, get your ass to Wilderson.
If you got my Facebook page is Doctah X, the Ghettoologist. If you give me a second,
I'm gonna go to, because I'm not really on that Facebook to people that's pop them and see them in real life. They're Rebecca and that tripping it. So, but yeah, I'll shoot you a message or something.
Yeah. Just send me a message, bro.
Yeah, call Malone. But I just want to say, people don't want to be running in circles. If you want to demonstrate you're serious, get on board with these people. And if not, you could call me an idiot. You could come, save the number, call him back and say, yo, wait there, these people are some idiots, dude. And say, yo.
I mean, the man has his view, and it's cool. I mean, I've never heard them, so I haven't got a comment until I hear them.
I know, because we're getting inundated with the likes of a Carlos. We ain't really saying nothing.
Yeah, none of them are. Yeah, I mean, all the commercial ones are there.
We're getting polite, and we love these figures because they don't challenge us.
Yeah, exactly, and they don't challenge the system either.
They don't challenge us. People like Curry and Rodison challenge us. They put demands upon us. Amos Wilson challenged us.
Yeah, he was.
These are the people that challenge us.
He's the only person I respect over the last. I'd say over the last.
Him and Remember Arnie are the only people I can listen to.
Yeah, and also there's another guy called Patrice Mumba. He's an African lecturer. He's the only other person that I find stimulating.
I've heard the name. I've never looked. I like the word stimulating, but because people want to play with themselves, ready to be hopping from scholar to scholar. But yeah, I will check them out, and I'm gonna send you a message right now.
Do that.
I'm about to jump into a thing. But yeah, I just wanted to say blessed Jamaica Day as well. When I say Jamaica, I mean red, black, and green, because I know people are quick to put them French colours or whatever colours or the LGBT colours. So let me see who won't fly the RBG colours. Yeah?
I fit them business that.
But yeah.
All right, brother. Mister, we'll catch you up. Yeah, nice one. Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah.
All right, peace.
One.
07931 276 232. There we go. Yep. Sorry about that. Dr. X, this is the People's Talk Show. Who am I speaking to? Hello? Did I do something wrong? I can't hear you. You're connected. Nothing's off. Everything's as it was. Can't hear a word. 602. I can't hear a word you're saying. Or is it me? No, it's not me. So it's definitely something your end. Right, call me back, sir. If you can hear me, call me back. Because nothing's something wrong this end. Yes? Zero 7931 276 232. Sing! Yep. What am I saying?
Nigga, feel nigga. Still nigga.
I don't agree with that. Hello?
Yeah, it's me. I'm just going to finish on a little point. You remember, you're talking about salute and this and that. Once people started to riot. Remember that time when Mark Duggan died and the black people had enough? But you know who kicked in? The anarchists. And I hate them anarchists because right now we wouldn't have been talking about none of the things right now. It would have been better for the black people if the anarchists didn't kick in. But
Jumbo. Light nigga, dog nigga, faux nigga, real nigga, rich nigga, po nigga, house nigga, feel nigga, still nigga.
Hello?
Yeah, greetings, bro.
Oh, sir?
Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, who am I speaking to?
It's Elliot.
Elliot, walk on. You'll be the last caller still.
Yeah, just a quick one, really. I don't know if you lot picked up about this surveillance system they got going on at Carnival. They're going to roll out. I don't know if you heard about it. Basically, at Carnival, they've got a facial recognition system that they're going to roll out, first used in a mass situation. So basically, if you're a criminal and on the system, and they spot your face and it matches up with obviously their data banks, then they're coming to pull you out of the crowd.
Lie.
Simple, and I'm really amazed that people are not talking about this.
I didn't know about that. I'll have to look at it. Where's that? Where can I find it? On the internet?
Yeah, it's on the internet. But they was talking about it on one of the commercial radio stations just this week, and I was like thinking, damn, they've got to that point now, basically. So this is for the people who are quote unquote maybe have criminal intentions or may have a bit of a record or wanted, stay away from Carnival, because you may well find yourself being set up.
Jacked up.
Basically.
Yeah, man.
That's
All right. Thanks for that,
And
Steve.
this is the first time it's been rolled out in a mass event. So not that football stadium or football event or one of these places. No,
where the Negroes
Carnival.
are at. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is what I'm telling you.
So
So I was
make
saying
of that as you will. So that's a quick one, really, but
that's what I was saying to Fiona about warfare. That's, you know, they're at war with us. They don't care about what we feel or what we think. They're just going to do what they need to do because they need to keep us where they need to keep us for whatever
No,
reason.
but I'd break it down very simple to me. It's, and like whoever put up Amos Watson, spot on, bro, because that brother there, he understood what was going on.
Trust me, he did.
Economics. It's always been about economics. It's always been about being able to be on top by taking what you have in order to control what you do, so I can be in a position of power. If you look anything beyond that, I mean, you can talk about race, you can talk about all these other factors, yeah, which is fine. But when you really boil it down and when you really get to the real hub of what's going on, it's about your resources, basically, and who controls them and who is able to wield power from them.
And also,
but
they also are very wicked and vicious and aggressive and merciless people on top of all of that. So you're not dealing with something that can be easily reasoned with. It lies and it tricks and it deceives in order to control. It's not as simple as that.
That's making the assumption that you have to bring emotion and what's the word I'm looking for? Empathy into the situation when you're dealing with something that is out to just control resources and power. Yeah, because at the end of the day, if you look at the most powerful people, they are also the most ruthless people because they understand what it is in order to maintain hegemony, right? And so if that means killing 1,000 babies, you don't have empathy. Your ultimate aim is just to be on top and to make sure that your clan is on top. So unless we understand that, then we really don't understand where we are, really.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. All right, bruv.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, it's good. Catch you next, because you're right at the end of the show. If you was in the middle, we'd have gone a bit deeper, but I can't.
Yeah, so I just didn't have a chance, really. Okay, well, okay, cool. Yeah.
Next time, bro. I'm back on. What date am I back on?
I'll come in earlier, bro. Come in earlier next time, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right,
nice
bro.
one.
Take care. All right. Status. Where am I now? Okay, so the next time I'm on will be the 3rd of September. So for all of you that's still there, the next time you'll see me is on the 3rd, or first Sunday. Remember, it's the first Sunday I'm back on, so it'll be the 3rd of September I'm back on air. So we'll go for another set of rare airs. You know what I mean? The Doctor Doom, as people want to call me now, because I don't want to, I don't want to talk about no highty flighty and that we're all going to rule the world soon and But if you have something that you feel you can add, you know what I mean, to help me, reconfigure my particular mind state and whatever, then you bring it forward, because you shouldn't be afraid. You know what I mean? There's no reason to be afraid. It's my last song. You know what I mean? I'm pushing it a bit. Okay, then we'll have to count that as a 0. And not 0. We've got to count that at the end. It was nice speaking to everybody. Fiona, Mr. Somebody in between, I've forgotten your name, and somebody at the beginning, I've forgotten your name. But I didn't have anyone writing stuff down today, so, I just got engrossed in the conversation. So thank you for your call anyway, you know what I'm saying? And, in the 3rd of September, I'll be back. And you never know, I might have the guest with me still. That'd be interesting. I'll have to run it through management. But, as I said, this is not really about negativity as people try to understand. You know what I mean? This is about I'm who I am, and I've always been who I am. So I really don't care what nobody thinks. I'm saying this is it. If you want truth, you're gonna have to deal with the whole truth and nothing but the truth, not your version of it. Now, if you contend with what I'm saying, then that's fine. But then at least contend with something relevant so we all can learn, rather than just your opinion and how you feel. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I feel a lot of things as well, so mine is equally as valid as yours and vice versa. But one doesn't cancel out the other necessarily. But you can get agreements and then you can get disagreements, and that's what makes for a good conversation. So until then, I bid you an enjoyable evening, weekend. Well, there's nothing left of that, but, you know, enjoyable evening, and you take care until I see or you hear from me. Yeah? Peace.